eyes. You're on a mission, burning ambition. You've got your eyes on the prize. You've gotta rise to the challenge. Show 'em what you got. Step up and take what's yours. You are kings now, Clash of Titans.
Hey everyone, Anthony here, Tornado Tag Podcast. We have a really, really cool show lined up for you today. We got a call-in guest that we're super, super excited to talk to. But before we get into any of that, check out all the links below for everything that we're talking about. Our guest links are always in our description, so I can't really say that's going to be anything new because we always plug it, as well as our merch page and all of our audio-only links are down there. That's really important because there is content. Like, so if you're someone who's watching this on YouTube or vice versa, if you're someone who's listening to this only on audio, there is exclusive content on each channel. So sometimes for certain shows, we'll do an interview that it's only audio only because we don't roll a camera. So there may be vice versa stuff going on each platform. So if you're someone who only listens on YouTube, go check us out on Spotify, Google, Anchor, Apple Podcasts. It's all there. Just type in IWEP Network and you can check all that out. I know we do the PPW Car Ride Home episode. That's exclusive to audio only. So yeah, there's a little bit of exclusive tidbits on each side of the coin here. On the video, we do the unboxings. So if you like those cool unboxing videos, we do 2 wrestling ones, and then we also do two pop culture reference ones. We do like a horror movie one, and then we do the pro wrestling, Video Games Monthly. Yeah. So go check all that cool stuff out. On the phone today is the creator and owner of Pro Wrestling Scorecards.
Vince McMahon of Pro Wrestling Scorecards.
Yeah.
Except he's not firing everybody today.
So this is a service that I kind of stumbled across. I think I just found like a sponsored ad on Facebook, or I forget like how I came across it. But I found it. I was like, man, this is a blast. And then we started doing them a little bit just in personal. And then I was like, this would be fun to bring it to the podcast level. Mm-hmm. And then we help out with the Patreon to it. So I do throw a couple bucks that way. And then now we're part of the digital. So if you do want to participate with us for Pro Wrestling Scorecards, you can hit us up. I do have some codes left over, and you can join us in the TTP team on the Pro Wrestling Scorecards. So what's going on, man?
Not much.
Awesome. So if you want to give yourself a quick introduction, and then we'll get into the history of how you came about this.
Yeah, sure. I'm Daniel, as you've already mentioned, the creator and owner of Pro Wrestling Scorecards.
Is this a solo thing, or you have a team around you?
I have a few people that help me out. My wife helps me out, and then a couple other people that, kind of advise and do some proofreading and stuff for me. But and then I have one gentleman that works out of the UK that's helping in the development of the digital system.
Wow! The digital is so much fun. Is that going to be something that you're going to roll out to everybody, or is that just going to be like an exclusive thing for a while?
We're going to hold it in its beta at least through Mania. We're hoping that we can do a full rollout for the event following Mania.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, that's cool. That's not far away. 3-4 more months.
No,
yeah.
I'm telling you right now, like the digital's a game changer.
It's so fun to kind of play along and just say, "Oh, I'm behind. Oh, I went ahead after this match."
Yeah,
it really is. That real time scoring is a lot of fun.
It's like the fun if you were like, I guess, gambling without the risk of losing anything. Because like I know when my buddies are watching like UFC fights, they're like checking their phone, like their dual fan duels and stuff. Yeah. And they're like, oh, I'm ahead again. Oh, that fight, like it's the same thing except there's no risk or reward. It's just kind of like bragging rights amongst friends, and then you're like, oh, I'm on the leaderboard, like I'm here, I'm there. It's just so much fun. It's such a cool thing. How did you come about this idea and doing it?
I have a group of friends that we always watch wrestling pay-per-views together, and, we always were trying to predict matches just, on the fly. And one day I came across, somebody posted a very rudimentary scorecard on Reddit, we found it, we played with it, we enjoyed it, but it wasn't something that we saw like popping up in feeds consistently. So we decided to just start making our own, and we were just doing it just to play amongst ourselves. It had nothing to do with like trying to put it out there. But we started posting it. Download counts were crazy. So on the advice of some other people that I know, I decided to establish an actual name in Pro Wrestling Scorecard, just putting some more effort into building them, because the original ones were just basically Word documents. So
honestly,
they were not.
Now that I'm thinking back to it, I might have gotten a Pro Wrestling Scorecard from my buddy Tyler Budwash, and I think it was the Mania. We were all at his house and we were watching it, and it was the one where the Hardy Boys made their return.
Okay,
did you have cards out then?
Yeah, that was actually the event that the download count. We had over 50,000 players for that.
Wow.
And that's what made me want to keep going.
Yeah, so I honestly think...
It's not like you have 20, you're like, oh, 50,000.
I honestly... So
wow.
now I am remembering. So this is how it came about. Tyler brought these cards to our buddy's house. I was like, this is so much fun. And and at the time, I wasn't following wrestling religiously, so it was something like... I didn't do very well because I didn't know the storylines. And then we started the podcast. I was like, man, that would be cool if we could find one of those scorecards again. So I just typed in wrestling scorecards because that brought me back to that thing. And I was like, oh, this is it. Because your structure to your cards is very... It looks good. Like even when you print them out, they look really good, and they're eye catching and they're very easy to fill out. So I remember seeing. I was like, "This is it." And then from there, we just kind of been doing it ever since on the show. You still there?
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, I thought we lost you. So when you started this process and you're going through it, what are some challenges that you have to overcome with these?
There's several things. I mean, one is, late match announcements or changes to the card make it difficult, especially with the pen and paper version of it. Like, after it's already released and, we have X number of downloads, and then we have to put out a change that requires people to pull it back down. Yeah. That's a struggle for us. So, one of the reasons we push back to the Saturday posting for WWE now with, SmackDown being on Fridays. And then we get to weeks that have overlapping events and whatnot. Like those are challenging for us. And then, of course, as I'm sure if you follow our Twitter accounts, the endless stream of people questioning our results is
I know I did one time. I was just being funny, but I remember it was a ladder match, and I remember I said Kofi's finger touched the belt. He just grazed it. He literally just grazed it, like just enough to make it swing a hair. And then I went back and looked at the card. I was like, I think Kofi touched that, and then you're like, someone put like after further review, Kofi did touch the belt. I was like, yeah,
after further review.
But it honestly, like the Twitter's even entertaining because people take it to the heart.
Yeah, it's crazy. Appreciating that I get the feedback that is actually correct. It's the endless arguing over stupid things that is the problem.
Yeah, I know when we first did it, we didn't do the table part right, where you're supposed to circle a table you think is saved, and you leave the...
we thought it was... We marked the one we thought would break.
Yeah, we did it wrong the first time, and then we were only giving each other the points if it broke, and then we're like, we did that wrong.
I think I'm still doing it wrong on digital, then, if that's the case.
Yeah.
I've been still putting what I thought was the table was supposed to break.
Yeah, I think that's how I do it.
I think digital makes it a lot.
Digital, you pick the table that's destroyed. So, but when you did the paper, it was a little differently.
Okay.
And then the unscheduled appearances, now on the digital...
With the database of every wrestler ever.
Yeah, which is hilarious because there's like the one that I always see when I click is Adam Bomb because it's like in the A's. I was like, man, if Adam Bomb shows up tonight.
Now I'm kind of bummed that Adam Bomb wasn't in the Rumble.
Yeah, imagine that.
Is he still alive?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is he?
Is it?
Brian Adams died. Brian Clark.
Yeah,
still
Brian
alive.
Adams is no longer. Not the Canadian singer, the wrestler.
Crush.
Yeah, Crush is no longer with us.
Which is funny because I'd be crushed if Brian Adams, the singer, died. Not really. I don't know.
But now the cool thing is the scheduled appearances. If they're on the card as scheduled already, it makes it red. Like you can't pick him, which is cool.
Like Rusev with Lana.
That I did phenomenally well with the Royal Rumble. With I got 9 out of 10.
Just pick girls because there's no girls scheduled.
Yeah, I did great too. I did 8 out of 10. The only reason because I kept Io Shirai, even though I knew she was hurt.
I had
like an
Valter,
asshole.
and that was the only one I missed.
I
But
missed Valter too.
It was basically girls and the Street Profits were my own sketch.
The Street Profits are always a lock-in. Because you're like, they're going to do a backstage segment. There's been a couple cards this year that they haven't, like Hell in a Cell, they didn't announce till like the day before.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't even post it on SmackDown. Like the shows leading up to it did nothing to help even get an idea. Mm-hmm. Now you guys do some cool things with your cards as well, where you pick like, will there be interference in this match? How many weapons will be used? How do you go about determining? Is it just kind of you're guessing like, we hope there's weapons used here?
Yeah. I mean, there's a challenge to that piece of the card creation, because I'm always sitting there thinking, okay, what are the possibilities that could happen, but are not definitive things, right? Because we don't want the question to be like completely obvious, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
we base a lot of it off of leading things in the storylines and stuff like that. And sometimes, in the case of matches that have no build, it's just we just throw a dart at a board and go with whatever.
I'll tell you what, though,
we want. But
Will this match go past 5 minutes? I like that one.
Yeah, some of your stuff you put in there is pretty on. Like some of when you throw the weapons in there, 9 times out of 10, there's more than 6 weapons used, so it makes it like you guys do a fantastic job on these cards.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I like the match going past 5 minutes is fun. I like that one. Or what was the other one that I always catch? Like how many false finishes?
Yeah,
like when you do like a Gargano
near
match,
falls,
you're like how many near falls? You're like 1,000.
Finishers used.
Yeah, how many finishers? Like that should be a new thing for Gargano matches. How many finishers will it take to finish Gargano, if none? Like what I mean? Like unless he wins the match, but like how many finishers will he false finish out of?
Well, the one I noticed for the time recently was the NWA Hard Times pay-per-view. It was a Scott Steiner match. It was like, I think it was 10 minutes. Like, there's no way Scott Steiner's wrestling for 10 minutes.
Yeah, will this last match be longer than 3?
That was the first NWA on there, right?
Second.
A second, was it? Oh, second?
I think it was the second one, right? Because
again?
That was the second NWA, because Into the Fire was on there.
I didn't do Into the Fire, actually. Hard Times,
this was
the first one we've done.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're right.
say, yeah.
I thought it was the second, but yeah, this NWA is a cool promotion, man. It's a lot of fun.
I'm glad you guys added that.
Yeah.
And I know they do a
I'll
lot
probably
with...
be doing going forward.
Oh, nice.
You did very well on the making it flow really well with the tournament.
Yeah, because I
yeah.
would confuse me. The winner of semifinal versus this, I was like, wow, that's good.
But once you figured out the process, it was so smooth.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Yeah, you know what? I picked that pay-per-view to start NWA because, I do like the brand. I had some troubles with it at first, but I do enjoy the brand. And I was like, I'm going to do the cards. And I picked that pay-per-view to start with. And then when they announced it was a tournament, I was like, what the fuck? Like,
How do I do this?
Yeah.
it was not set up to handle that appropriately.
Yeah. I actually picked the winner. I got the winner of the tournament.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, I said Tim Storm would win it.
Yeah, I had Tim Storm too.
I was tied for first for that one.
Yeah.
For the Hard Times on the digital.
So the main question is, now that we have you pressured on the show, is when does the TTP get in their own group?
We are actually going to be rolling out groups for AEW Revolution.
Perfect.
Oh,
Nice.
That's
So you'll be able to create your own.
That's awesome. There is a cool thing too that like we're 2 or 3 guys are always in the top 5 or 10 usually every show. We do really well.
Yeah, I was third for Worlds Collide.
We'll also be getting validation for like podcasts and websites and whatnot up and running shortly. I'm sure you've seen the PWS team has the PWS thing at the end.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Other names. There's a few other groups that have that, and we're going to be rolling that out shortly too.
Perfect.
Nice.
We look forward to it.
That's when we hit a slump and like, what are these guys doing at the bottom?
Yeah, these guys suck. This podcast is terrible. The funny thing is like when we were doing this just paper-wise, and we're like, out of a possible 267 points, you have 87.
Yeah.
And we're like, we are terrible at this. And then we start playing digital, and we're like, we're doing really well. Like the first ever digital, like because we have a little toy belt we pass around. So if one of us wins that week, we're the champion of the pro wrestling scorecards. Like we have like we're keeping track of title reigns and everything. So right now Brian's the champion. He just successfully defended his title because he won last group of pay-per-views.
Yeah.
And then we lump, like, so if there's 3 pay-per-views in 1 week, we lump them all together. So Brian overall of the 3 pay-per-views won. But my first ever title came off the first time we ever did a digital.
Yeah, that's right.
Digital reading. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, you know what's interesting is a lot of people think they do bad at the cards. But if we look at the overall scores of them, very few people score even 50% of the possible points.
Yeah, it definitely shows.
That's crazy.
For a while there, we were like, we have no business doing this digitally.
Well, some of it is so hard because it's easy enough to get some of the winners right, but
Yeah, that's easy to get the
to
winners
really
right.
hit like the exact match time can be tricky, or the
Yeah,
exact
that's
amount of
tough.
air
Aerial
points.
moves used,
Yeah,
stuff
exactly.
like that.
That's what
To get,
always
like,
that's what always brings me down. Dude,
The
is, like, aerial and
multipliers
shit.
can be tricky to hit on the nose, and if you
Yeah.
do, it's really like, oh my, like that Scott Steiner match. It was 6 minutes. Like, yeah, I got it exact.
Yeah, and that's 2 plus 2 points.
Yeah.
That's
Plus
an-
2
And if you
points.
take
That's
those
a
6
third
points,
chance of getting that. Yeah.
yeah,
it spells trouble and sacrifice.
So, what are some future goals you guys have besides the ones you've already talked about for pro wrestling scorecards?
I mean, you know, our initial goal right now is just to get the digital rolled out. But we want to also expand upon what the digital can do. You know, we're looking at getting, you know, some actual analytics information in there. So, like, you can make more informed choices. Like, for instance, you know, Charlotte's matches end 75% of the time in submission. Like, based on all the scorecards we've done, we're going to pull all that data together.
Oh, wow.
That is awesome.
We're also going to pull the data together about the users and, you know, et cetera, try and get, like, you know, some interesting stats in there, like understanding what the average score is and, like, which questions are too difficult and whatnot. So we can kind of streamline a little bit.
That's awesome.
We're trying to work on some partnerships right now with some actual indie promotions.
Oh, there we go.
Ones that do, you know, still like national broadcasting on Fight. We'd like to work with a couple to do some scorecards and do some actual results broadcasting over their Fight streams.
Oh, sweet.
So,
Yeah, because if enough people are playing the cards and you're like, hey, we have a bonus card this week. If you download Fight and download this thing, you can play along.
Yeah.
And if someone's a wrestling fan and they like playing your thing, you're driving more people to watch their shows.
right.
Yeah,
So
that'd be
we're
fantastic.
really working that will do that. We were originally having, you know, we had a very brief, I'm going to say very brief, conversation with, like, Wrestle Circus because we thought they'd be a good partnership in something like that, you know, but obviously they had their trouble, so that conversation didn't go very far.
Yeah.
But,
Now, you guys were at Starcade this year as well, right?
Starcast.
Starcast. I'm sorry, not Starcade. Starcast, yeah.
we attended StarCast this year. We were vendors at StarCast. Well, there was a lot of StarCast this year, I guess.
Yeah, there was like 4.
We were vendors at StarCast for Double or Nothing. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
You make any cool connections there?
Yeah, actually, you know, spending time in the vendor room there, like before it opens and everything, we got to meet everybody that was there. So we've built really strong relationships with you know, like Jonathan from Lapel Yeah has become a you know, a good contact for us,
Cool.
helping us out with some things. So we send like beta codes out through Lapel Yeah packages.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Lapel Yeah is fantastic.
Another big supporter of NWA, Lapel.
Yeah.
They make a lot of their merch.
They make great pins.
They do excellent, and they all their shirt releases are just perfect.
Yeah.
So that's a good partnership to have, and you know, now he's I don't know if you've noticed, but Lapel Yeah is running merch for GCW and Villain Enterprises and several other things. So we're gonna keep trying to partner with them to try and, you know.
We have a buddy who's
That's
been
cool.
wrestling a lot with GCW. Tony
Oh,
Deppen.
really? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Interesting.
lives locally.
Yeah, he lives right around us, and he's been killing it on the circuit.
I just saw him last weekend at GCW in LA.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. How
yeah,
about it?
he's fantastic.
It's funny. It's funny when you brought up integrating in with an indie promotion that does a lot of GCW is one that popped into my head.
Yeah. I
that's
just
one
wish
that
it was
we
something
do-
we could watch
we do like
live.
to look at.
Well, on Fight, GCW on Fight is
Oh, they
is
are live on
yeah.
Fight?
How many weapons will be used in the Nick Gage match? All of them.
Yeah.
Every last one of them.
Tony just in a recent, I don't know if it was GCW or just a different promotion, he used a spiked dildo. Did you see that?
It sounds like
I
GCW.
did not see it.
Yeah, he had a spiked dildo. He hit the guy in the face with it and then rammed it up his butt. Not
Tony's the
literally,
man.
but yeah, Tony. I mean, it's got to be a matter of time before he gets snatched up.
He would have been snatched up already if he had like a more wide open schedule, but he could only wrestle like on weekends or something. I watched him say in interviews, like that's
Yeah.
like tough, you know.
Yeah, for a lot of people, it's hard to leave your regular job unless you're getting offered big money. But who's going to offer you big money if they don't really know you? So it's
Yeah,
That's why things like GCW are great because you're able to get your name
exposure,
out there
yeah.
and get exposure in one night.
Yeah, he wrestled Orange Cassidy,
He wrestled
Pentagon.
Yep, he wrestled Chris Statlander.
Yeah, he's getting names under his
He's
belt.
going to wrestle Alex Shelley WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah, that's going to be
Which is
fantastic.
great, dude. That's great.
He turned out NXT money.
That's fucking sick.
And speaking of T-shirts, I just took a weird drink of water, man. Like went down the wrong pipe.
Oh, no.
I'm like fucking dying.
I think what you're going to say here is Pro Wrestling Scorecards does have merch. Is
They
that
do.
where you're going?
Yes, they have merch, and I do. I'm very, very appreciative of. We did like a shirt trade. I sent you guys one of yours. You sent. I didn't realize you were going to send me so many stickers and pins and everything, man. I loved it. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, no problem, man.
So if in the links below, you can see it. You can go see them on Pro Wrestling Tees. If you type in Pro Wrestling Scorecards, their merch is there. They have a Patreon, so if you want to throw a couple bucks, they have different tiers of what you can do to support the content. And once again, you heard from him that he's doing a lot of like analytics and stuff. That all takes time. It all takes effort and money, and you got to pay the bill sometimes.
Especially
Somehow
when they announce the matches Friday. They have the card of Saturday afternoon.
So even if you tried it more than 2 or 3 times, if you just do like a $2 donation here, like every month, it's not a big deal. Like help the guy out, like help him out. They do great work. We're huge fans of it here at the podcast. We'll continue to support it, put it out there, and get more people to play along.
As we
I
all
appreciate that, man. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's fun. I'm glad you had an NWA. So, and then New Japan with Wrestle Kingdom, even though I missed the first day.
Yeah, they're hard to watch, man. Because they're so out there.
Well, I
so
mean,
many, and it's just something that's only going to grow because there's so many different things now with NWA, with AEW, with WWE doing takeovers and everything all the times. If you do kind of get into this, it's something where you're going to have some kind of fun every week,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Now, without drawing lines in the battle sand, because wrestling is at this point now where people are just getting ugly when it comes to what they like, and if you don't like what the other one, it's like it's getting like the old school Mennonite Wars again. We here at our show are accepting all wrestling, but we do have a preference of what we enjoy a little more than others. What would be your brand right now that you're really into?
I agree with you on I like all wrestling, but for me, I mean, we're talking like major brands. For me, AEW is the way I go.
Okay.
Love AEW, and that's primarily because like living in Vegas, Ring of Honor comes here twice a year. Like we get a lot of the indie things in Southern California, so a lot of those wrestlers are people I've been following for a long time. Anyways, pre AEW, so I just enjoy that product, seeing those people still. Right. If we're talking indie, GCW is hands down my favorite.
Nice.
I started in Allentown, and the name comes from the building. It was just called Game Changer World.
Really?
Yes.
So it started in Pennsylvania and then went to L.A.
Well, they go all over now, yeah.
They do a lot of Jersey. Because their style, PA is going to be tough because they don't do blood and they do a lot of like deathmatch wrestling.
Oh, okay.
So they do a lot of Jersey. They'll do LA. They'll do. They was doing a huge thing at WrestleMania.
Jersey. Yeah. They're ones behind Joey Janelle Spring Break and Orange Cassidy's doing something. All those shows.
They have a thing called the Collective now that they run for WrestleMania weekend, and they do like 20 shows over 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, they look like a blast.
You will be there for that.
I seen you were just at a show that you had one of my favorite guys in the circuit right now, Joey Ryan.
Yeah, he was at we went and saw Bar Wrestling versus GCW.
Oh wow!
And then the following night was a GCW show. He was at both.
Yeah, he's so entertaining.
Bar wrestling's his thing.
Yeah, he's so entertaining. He cracks me up.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day we can see him live.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
But they as far as being like SoCal, that's Joey Ryan's.
Yeah,
That's
backyard.
Joey Ryan's backyard.
Yeah. Now, you said living in Vegas. Are you excited for possibly some wrestling happening at that new Raiders stadium they're talking about?
Yeah, I'm really hoping we'll see a Mania here in the next couple of years. WWE loves to hit the new stadium, so
Yeah.
I'm.
It seems inevitable.
I think that's a given. I think that'll happen soon. Actually, I could see in like 2 or 3 years that happening.
I see next year. I see a year or two. I don't see more than 2 years because I know when they were out there for
When are they opening that stadium?
next year, it's going to be ready for football next year. They said.
Next year, I think, is LA.
Oh, really?
I think it's going to be the new Rams Charger Stadium. Maybe the year after that'll be wrestling.
Oh, maybe that'll make sense then. But I do know that when they were out there was video, I guess, of Tripp in the stadium looking at it and looking over stuff. And I even heard rumors that Cody was in the stadium looking at it and stuff
sure
already.
they are.
No, that's not even rumors. That's a fact. Because Cody posted pictures of the stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was dope.
And even UFC's looking at it. They want to put
that's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
This year.
They want Connor in that stadium.
Yeah,
How many does it seat?
It's huge.
It'll be like probably 60,000 for
my
football.
God.
So it'll be the same size as like MetLife Stadium or
Okay.
where they run Mania. They
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
run Mania at football stadiums now.
Yeah. I just did my first Vegas experience last year. My God, I wish I lived out there. It's just I loved it. It was such a cool environment.
Yeah, it's an interesting place to live for sure.
I wanted to live on Fremont Street. My wife was like, "We need to go back to the hotel room." I'm like, "This is the funniest place on earth. I don't want to ever leave here."
Yeah, you see some crazy stuff down there.
I seen a woman dressed as Wonder Woman, Andy. She was the hottest human being I've ever seen in my life.
What?
She did not look like she was made on this planet. She looked like she was from the Amazons, right? So hot, and not one human being was standing near her. Like she was doing her thing.
Yeah.
Not one person was going up to ask for pictures.
That's what they like me. I'm like,
They were
hey, her.
they were intimidated by her because how attractive she was. 3 spots down from her was a 400-pound woman in a diaper wearing pasties and dancing, and
God.
she had 300 people around her throwing money at her.
Well, you know,
I was like, I love Fremont Street.
it was what the entertainment is.
And I was there when the Vegas Knights were making a run for their first year in the league for the Stanley Cup. So Fremont Street was a madhouse. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. I'm just in closing here. Anything you want to get out or plug or let people know about?
I mean, you've already mentioned our Patreon, but we're also on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at PW Scorecards. We're going to be out and about at a bunch of events this year. You mentioned this earlier, we'll be at the Collective.
Nice.
For all 20 of the events.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel bad for you.
That's going to be in Florida then, right?
Ybor City, I believe it's going to be.
Yeah.
Right outside of Tampa.
Well, if you ever make your way up to Pennsylvania, let us know. Maybe we'll meet up. We'll try to go to the show with you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we try. Me and my wife, we try to travel for big events whenever we can. So if something's in the area, I'll definitely hit you guys up.
Cool, man. Well, listen, man, I'd love to continue to support. Thank you so much for the merch you sent over the way with the T-shirt and the pins and stuff. I wear the pin on my hood. I'm a pin guy, so I'm wearing it all the time. Stickers on the table, the pencil and the PWS stickers on the table. If there's anything you ever need from us, let us know. We'll promote anything you need. We're huge fans of your work, and we'll continue to put that Patreon money in there too.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you so
Looking
much.
forward to more New Japan shows.
Yeah, we'll keep playing along, and pretty soon we'll have our own little group. So if you guys want to join the TTP, and in pretty much 4 months, the beta will be done, and all you can join and do beta with the digital with us. Here's a quick thing before I let you go. Are you looking to do an app? Or are you just going to keep it on the browser?
We're going to. So we're focusing on building in the browser right now because. It's easier for us to build, to get the database set up and all that. But once we have that all up and running, then building an app that interfaces with the same database will be fairly simple for us. So we'll get there at some point. But the web app was the easier way to get to roll out faster. So
yeah, I agree. Well, man, you're doing a fantastic job. You and your team, we're huge supporters. Like I said, keep doing what you're doing, and we look forward to more things. If you ever have anything going on, you want to call in. We shoot Thursday night every time. You can call in and you can plug a card or anything going on. All right.
Awesome. I appreciate the invite. I'll let you know.
Perfect. Our platform's always open for you, brother.
All right, man. Thank you.
Take it easy, man.
It sounded like the bell rang there.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. That was awesome. Cool interview. I'm a huge fan of their product. So definitely go below and check out all of the
links.
The links. I just got a message.
And if you're going to
an asshole,
if you're going to Mania, maybe you'll see Daniel at the Collective.
Yeah, definitely.
There's
a lot
all
going
20
on
shows.
there.
Oh my God, I know that's like they do 3 shows a day, and that's a lot.
They
lot.
They do so many things. I know, like the last one they had Janela Spring Break, Bloodsport.
Did they do the Joey Ryan penis party too?
No, that's basically a knockoff of Janela Spring Break.
Oh, okay.
That was that High Spots? I think it was either It was either High Spots or WWN, or both. Did Joey Ryan's
I
penis
forget.
party?
It's crazy though. I know the guy from Smart Mark that was taping it. He's like, I got 3 shows in one day. I'm like, oh my God. Then you're just going all day.
Yeah, like you can even buy a ticket, or on Fight you can buy like a package. Where
watch them all.
It's like $200 for all 20 or something like that.
Wow. But Fight's one type of thing, if you pay for that, they're always there for you, right?
Yeah, you get like...
I think most of them are.
Yeah, I pretty... Unless they specify. Like, if you get like All In, I think they... Not in the US, but things like All In the AW pay-per-views, if you're in like Canada or the UK...
It's once and done.
I think it's... You have it maybe for like a day or two.
Yeah.
But for most of the stuff that
all the NWA stuff, it's forever.
It's forever. Like, I still have Bloodsport with Suzuki and Barnett. I still have the DDT show from WrestleMania weekend. I still have both Joey Janela Spring Break shows.
Yeah. So we're going to get into our topics. We're going to talk about everything that happened over the weekend, get into Raw. We have some news here or there, and then we have a topic for you tonight. Brian drew up a topic, which is kind of going to be...
We threw one together.
Yeah, we threw one together. I think it's going to be really fun. It's going to be someone I like now. Obviously, they won me over with him, but I don't know much about his past, so it's going to be cool to listen to that. But the first thing I want to talk about is not wrestling related, but it is sports related, and it was a big loss for a lot of people. I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, and they're just trying to put it down for whatever reason they're trying to. But if you know, it is what it is. I'm not even going to dive into the negativity aspect of it. But we lost Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant in a helicopter accident. Him, his daughter, and 7 other people, right?
It was 9 altogether.
9 altogether. The pilot, and then 2 kids, parent, and then some coaches.
Did it crash into?
They're still kind of figuring out what was going on, but they think that he was circling over LA for a while, and he was having some issues in the fog, and there might have been some mechanical issues, and then he flew it out to this remote area because he maybe kind of knew it was going down, and he could possibly figure it out in that area, and he wouldn't do collateral damage and hurt other people. So they kind of put it out there, and it went down really, really fast and really, really hard. I mean, that helicopter was everywhere. Like, there was no chance. But yeah, Kobe is a Pennsylvania guy.
Yeah,
you know, he played a game in Hazleton, and he also played a game at Martz Hall in Pottsville.
Really? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
His high school was in the same county where I'm from, Delaware County. And when I was probably in 6th or 7th grade is when he was like a freshman, and it was already because his father was a player. He played for the 76ers. That's why they kind of lived in that area. I started hearing about Kobe Bryant when he was like 14 years old.
He was literally his entire life was in the spotlight. So like when people are like, why are we talking about his death over Marines or his death over? Listen, like, he's been a national figure since he's a high school player.
Right.
Like, he's, you know what I mean? Like, sure, he has some allegations against him, but I'm not going to dive into it, but if you look into that case, there's a lot more to that than just a guy who got off with something. There's a lot of underlining that went into that, and I definitely ask you to read into it before you make judgments, but it doesn't even matter at this point because he's gone, his daughter's gone, he's been doing, regardless of what happened, and I don't condone if it is true, but people do get second chances for doing a lot worse, and he was a great father. He was a great role model in the basketball community. He was out there trying to do better things. His mind state and his way of thinking made so many people step up their game in so many different ways. He's just been an amazing impact in a lot of people's lives, and it's a huge loss. And I know I said it on the Not Cool in High School podcast. I know that the great debate all the time is who's the greatest of all time? Is it Kobe? Is it LeBron? Is it Michael? For me, I'm not even entertaining that question anymore because losing a guy at 41 who will go down as one of the greatest of all time, it doesn't matter who's the greatest. We just should cherish people for where they are and just enjoy what they're putting out at the moment. There's no need for the competition of saying who's better than not. Just enjoy what you're getting right now. That's just my take on it. And if anyone else has anything they want to add,
not a sports fan, so I have nothing to say.
Yeah, I mean, he's fucking
sad news. That's all I can say.
He was fantastic.
Yeah, he was great.
Just lies like I'm a little bit younger than him, but I went to school with people who played against him, and that's something that they will always remember. Like you could just tell that they were just awestruck that they got to share a court with this guy.
He's fantastic. He's He's one of the greatest of all time. I do know that I picked up 2K17 and 2K10 right after the news broke. I'm like, well, these are two games I always wanted, and I was just kind of sitting on it, like, I'll eventually get it. And I was like, I'm snatching them up now, because as soon as I did, they both went up to like $200 games.
Yeah.
So I grabbed them. Yeah. So I got one.
They're the ones
like,
with him on the cover. Or?
Yeah.
I already had both of them. I'm glad I did.
2K10 I got for $7.
Oh wow!
And then 2K17 unopened, not the gold edition, the purple edition. I got for $20.
Nice.
Unopened. And then while I was there, I collect certain games. Like I have all the wrestling ones. I have all the cover athletes of Madden and NCAA. But I'm a Jordan fan, so I have 2K10 with him, and then I have 2K12 because it had Jordan, Bird, Magic. I never had the Jordan cover, so I found that one. And then I got 2K16 because you can go and play like Jordan as a rookie through Be a Player.
Dude, that was so fun. I used to love doing that. That was so fun. I wish they would bring that back with different players. Like they should do that with LeBron. They should do
that was so where you play as Jordan's whole career, like, and they did it with Kobe in 12, where you get like a guy, kind of like how Showcase mode in WWE.
Yeah, I remember that there's one with Steve Austin.
Trying to tie it into wrestling here in a way, but like they did that in the basketball games. Where like, hey, NCAA football used to do it too. Like, here's Bo Jackson. Can you play a 4-year career with Bo Jackson and try to match his numbers?
Oh, okay.
And it makes it entertaining. Like, but Jordan, they had stuff like this game. You have 75% of your fatigue is gone because it's the flu game. Can you still, with 75% to fatigue, still drop 62 points? It was.
Yeah, that game was fun, and you could pick where you get drafted by, which was awesome. Because like I would put them on, like I would try, like I'd have a whole many save files of every team. Like I would put them on everybody, and just play it out.
It was it's a cool thing. I hope they bring that back. But yeah, I do have those two games coming in. I'm pretty those games coming in. So that with a heavy heart, rest in peace, Kobe, and hearts go out to, all the people that were affected and families and people who are just fans, man. They're super fans. He's changed. He's been a role model. Like that's like losing Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's just one of those people. Like there's big names in the sports that when they leave, it's an impact, and that's definitely one of them. Quick segue before it gets even more sad, but PPW.
There's nothing sad about that.
Nothing sad about PPW.
That was a great time. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Oh, it was sad
time. No, I'm saying I don't want to keep dwelling on something sad, so we're going to go positive with PPW. The power of PPW positivity.
Positivity Premier Wrestling.
Positivity Premier Wrestling. Fantastic show.
Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
We're gonna just hit up some highlights. We're not gonna do the whole thing because we did do a car ride home.
Yeah, I guess I got the whole review,
and you can check it out on our audio only, the car ride home. But first off, before we start, huge thank you again to everyone at PPW for kind of letting us get some content that day and let me go behind the curtain a little bit, which was cool. I have some cool things I want to bring up with that I'm not breaking kayfabe or anything, but there's some things that I think that fans would definitely appreciate. And then obviously overall just a really good card.
Yeah. And just to reiterate what Tony said, just everybody to a person was just so welcoming and gracious and everything, and that's always a good. It feels good to feel.
Except for whoever's heel, fuck them.
No, the heels were even sweethearts. So we walk in, come through the side door, we got our stuff, and as we walk in, Billy Gunn's doing his seminar, and it was just like, this is cool, like, because now we're not here as a fan, we're here to do work. And it I don't know about you, but it immediately hit me like, this is it, man. We're here. We're gonna do some stuff today. Like it was a different feel walking into the building because, I mean, you've been here since day one. Like one of our goals was for the podcast to get something like this. Yeah. So it was really cool to really check that off the bucket list. It's probably something you don't even think about anymore because you've been at so many shows. But
it's just another day at the office.
But kind of coming in is
I guess at first it's
a neat experience. Yeah, it's
overwhelming,
cool.
I'd say.
And then the first thing you do is when you walk in, you see the entire roster of people that you're like, man, these are super talented people, and they literally, like, this is not a knock, but they literally look like kindergarten kids sitting in a chair just like with mouths drawn open and Billy Gunn's just talking to them. You know what I mean? It was
he doing anything physical with them, or do you know?
No, it was just talk.
He may have been, I don't know.
Maybe before he got there. Yeah, sometimes they do, sometimes
I think
they
it was
don't.
only talk.
When we got there, he was talking, but then we kind of went in the back a little bit. We're not there to watch Billy Gunn's seminar. We're there to get stuff done. And then we were kind of in another room where you can't really see the ring. And I know we were hearing some, like...
No, that was people just testing the ring.
Testing out the ring.
Yeah, testing the ring out. But even behind the curtain with that, like, Billy Gunn was like, I mean, he wasn't behind the curtain, like he was downstairs more than he was upstairs, but when he came up, man, he was firing the people up. He's like, all right, man, let's do this. This is easy work, boys. Let's and like he was getting everybody in the mood. He wasn't just there to take the check, and get
show
out.
up and
he was watching the matches. Like he was sitting there talking to people. Like it was a really cool thing to see him like taking people under. That's what he does with AEW, and that's a huge success of why. Like a lot of like right now, so like a big thing with AEW, a lot of people are like, well, this is just all WWE guys coming in and running a company. There is an NXT factor to AEW. They do have some people that came from the indie circuit that they snatched up that they need to polish before they get to the main stage. And some guys are higher than others, and that's why your Billy Gunns and your AEW Darks and matching them together with other people are going to make them better.
Definitely.
While you're seeing them on TV. Like NXT, what you watch on NXT is not a development. They're polished people. They're ready to go on TV. There's a lot behind the scenes of AEW that we don't see. You know what I mean? And it was cool to see that kind of AEW-esque feel with Billy Gunn being there, working with talent and kind of like motivating them, pumping them up, and legit having a good time.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah, he seemed like he was nice and everything. I didn't really talk to him, but I mean, he didn't seem like some of the stars that just come there, they're just there to get their money and have a match and don't really care if it's good or not.
Yep. Then we were setting up and the Brooklyn Brawler came downstairs and gave us some critiques on how to set a green screen up.
Hey, he still looks pretty good.
He looks fantastic. Looked great. Super nice guy.
Really?
Absolutely, yeah.
I didn't talk to a Brawler at all.
Yeah, he just came, like we were down there helping the Wicked Turtle guy set up their green screen. And he's like, oh, you got to steam that out. You're never going to get a read on that green screen. Like I've been doing that for 30 years with the WWE. And like, it was...
Well, he didn't name drop WWE.
No, but he's like, I've been doing it. Honestly, he didn't say WWE at all. I've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
And at first, no idea who he was. I was like, who is this dude down here? And I think Paul might have thought the same thing.
Yeah, we don't know. I didn't ask him, but later it's just me and Tony down there, and I'm like, it was the Brooklyn Brawler, right?
And I was like, no. Because he looks way different.
Right.
Yeah.
He looks great.
Yeah, like he looks like a normal guy, just a normal guy. Like he's in excellent shape, especially because
he still looks like he's built like I wouldn't want him to get punched by him.
He's like
spry. He's still spry.
He's in better shape now, probably as far as like he's more cut than he was when he in his prime.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't know what he's on, but he looks great.
The Brawler.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
DDP yoga.
There you go.
Yeah, if that's a DDP, I need to step my shit up.
Hey, Lexi Nair does DDP yoga, and I'll do whatever the fuck she's doing.
Yeah. Now
MJF.
MJF.
According to that shirt.
He wishes. No, they're actually really close friends in real life.
So we talked about match of the night before we started it with Bro and Deshaun.
There were so many great matches though. Like that was definitely. I'm a sucker for mat wrestling, and they did a lot of mat work in that match.
So old school. Yeah,
I loved it.
Maybe a little too much for that crowd, because sometimes when you don't, give them an '80s match, kind of like they get a little lost.
Yeah, I don't think the crowd appreciated it as much as we did.
Yeah.
But then again, you really can't go out there and turn it to 100 because you're going to get that later with Facade.
Yeah, and it's the opener too, so I guess they were just trying to...
Yeah, but even like some certain crowds, you can't give them the same match you give the ROH Smart Mark crowd, because they just don't appreciate it. Mm-hmm. It's not that they don't, it's just that's not what they're to see. They're there to see the guy get, it's like
a WWE Super Show. You got to give them an old school pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And then everybody online's like, well, this event sucked. It's like, no shit. They have to give them shit because that's what they're fucking used to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like the old school feel though, which is crazy because I should be watching
different crowds in different cities are they like different things. So,
yeah.
I mean,
and then one of the big... I just want to push a couple storylines here.
Oh, yeah. Before that match even happened.
Yeah.
The big opening show.
Big heel turn. South Philly's Finest comes out and jumps main event. And now South Philly's Finest, which was the biggest bubbly baby face. But they kind of got the Bailey treatment. They turned and everyone loved it. That's not what they wanted, obviously.
Right.
So here's my thing. PPW crowd, I loved it too. I did. I was smiling from ear to ear. I thought it was entertaining. But as a wrestling fan, turn into it a little bit. Boo them. Get into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what you're... That's so much fun. Just kind of turn back the hands of time a little bit and be a 13-year-old and be like, boo. You'll have a good time, I promise.
It's weird. Some people, they're just going to cheer for what they want.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, if you pay for your ticket,
Yeah.
like Vince always says, I don't care if they boo, I don't care if they cheer, as long as they pay for their ticket, do whatever the hell you want.
It was a fantastic heel turn. It was great, and I'm really looking forward to that storyline. We'll just cut to the main event real quick. Well, actually, it wasn't the main event, but the championship match.
Yeah, because
Facade doesn't.
No, the second to last.
Yeah. The main event was the Rumble,
Yeah,
but
Facade does not win the title. He did, but then the foot was on the rope, and then Deshaun Pratt comes in to cash in his golden ticket.
See, I didn't see it.
And he never had a chance to cash it in, so he may still have that golden ticket.
Okay.
We're still trying to figure out or wait for PPW's word on that. And then Facade loses. Rumble happens. So we talked about in the show how you wanted to set a personal goal that night.
Yeah.
And you did.
Yeah.
Came out number 1.
Yeah, how about that?
37 minutes.
Yeah, according to Brooke, that's what she put down.
I'm gonna believe hers over mine because I was opening up the notes app and I had like another.
Frank gave Killian the credit for the longest time.
Yeah, that son of a bitch. I'm like, didn't you see him come out second and then get eliminated by me?
And then I
mean, credit for second longest.
Yeah,
you know.
But second longest, Killian.
Yeah, how about it? That's nice shirt. Yeah,
I got the Killian shirt.
Yeah, he was good. So I was happy they got to
It was
work
awesome
with a
watching
bunch
you guys
of
work.
Good people.
It was. I was happy to see you guys work together. That was fun.
It was good stuff. I could tell right away. You could always tell. Like I think Tom Brady said, "There's a good name drop." He said you could tell when you lock up with someone if they're good or not.
Yeah,
and I was like, I believe that because sometimes I locked up. I was like, "Ooh, this could be a bad one."
Yeah,
you know. But no, it was fun with Killian.
I think he's gonna miss a couple shows, but I think he's definitely slated to come back.
I think they're gonna bring him back because why not?
The cool thing was too, couple Outbreak names were there.
Yeah,
for
Ian
the
Bush
seminar.
was in there.
Ian Bush was there. Well, he didn't even know he was in the Rumble.
Yeah.
So we interviewed him, and he was like, "I like this place. I'd love to work here. Like, there's a lot of cool names. Andy's here. Killian's here. So, like, Izzy wasn't. She went there for the seminar.
Yeah.
But Izzy would be a good female to bring in.
Yeah, and they need females.
Yeah, they need it. So she's fantastic. Hit her up, and then Ian's like, well, I'm going to head out. I was like, all right, man. And then he went to walk out, and I guess they were like, what are you going? He's like, I'm heading home. And they're like, you're in the Rumble. And he goes, oh, shit. So he was like a kid running around. He was happy, smiling ear to ear. Like, he was happy to be there. So that would be another name I would look PPW if you're looking to bring a guy back. Ian Bush is a young guy, super talented. And he brings a crowd. So if you put him on a show,
if they'll come up here
if you put him on a show, he will bring a crowd. I promise you. And his crowd, if you want a loud crowd,
they're vocal.
They will be. They are very vocal, and they like their Ian Bush. His crowd. You could be determined that his crowd got him a championship.
Yeah. I'm sure it didn't hurt.
It didn't. I mean, listen, the kid's talented as well, but it does help when people are coming and putting their name out there.
And then the one thing I hate to do this to Andy, but little asterisk next to that time and that personal record, because our own Andy Hedder was using performance enhancers during that battle royal.
So Andy,
I thought it was a good idea.
Pulls a can of Red Bull out of, I don't even know where you got it.
That's a secret.
And chugs the can of Red Bull and then hulked up and cleared the ring.
Yeah, and then Big Bull Hightower comes out, which I thought was a good spot. And then the story kind of complete. And then like I just hike up, he swats the dropkick away and then just starts hitting the elbows, puts me down, puts 5 other people down.
And then you eliminate him.
Then I eliminate that son of a bitch. So.
Yeah, you took him out.
How about that?
It was so cool.
I set up 4 feuds, maybe 5.
Yeah.
You laying story left and right there.
Yeah, you and Moran had a little beef there.
Yeah, so I eliminate Johnny after he eliminated Ian Bush.
Yep.
So we're probably going to get a match here. And of course, I eliminate Killian.
Yep.
Me and Killian were in for a long time.
Yeah.
Going back and forth. I don't know if you've seen, mostly when someone came out, they came after me immediately.
Yep.
So,
well, here's the cool thing behind the curtain too, man, and this is something that, as someone who's been sitting across this table from you now for over between 2 different shows, I mean, we've sat here for a while and talked to each other and talked wrestling and talked behind the scenes, but never really seen you in action. You were a locker room leader that night, man. Like you were, I thought you did fantastic. Like you kind of like behind the curtain a little bit. Ran a lot of that Rumble. Like,
I kind of put it together. No one else was. I mean, they had a
sheet of where they wanted.
Say, blueprint, I guess you could say. But not everything was ironed out.
But like watching you backstage and kind of just watch from a distance, like, hey, we come in and we do this and this, and you guys do this. Like it was. Honestly, it was a fantastic Rumble.
I thought it was really good.
The Rumble was really good.
Very entertaining.
I mean, they had Tony and Paul like what they wanted for the Final 4, and us was 5, and Killian was 6. But out of that, it was like whatever. And I was like, okay, well, let's do this. So obviously me and Killian did our spot. And then for Bo, and then when everyone else came in, I asked, did you want something? And like, okay. A lot of people are like, oh, it don't matter. I'm like, all right. So it's like, I was like, well, then find who you want to eliminate you.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I went up like Bull. I was hammering the corner. I was like, who's eliminating you, Bull? And he goes, you are. All right. I was like, I'm going to start working you over.
I have to look at it, but I had you up to like at least 4 eliminations.
I think it was 5.
I think it was 5.
4 or 5.
I didn't want that, man.
Killian, Bull, Johnny.
Yeah.
I know for sure.
So I think you had the
I think
longest
Rembrandt
time and the most
Yeah, I
eliminations.
thought something. Like, I didn't want to like steal the show too much, but I think I did.
The crowd was chanting your name
I know.
for a while there. So
you thought I was really going to win?
it was your first. It was your first night as a babyface, and the crowd. I think the end of the night, I think you won them over. I
Yeah.
thought you did a great job.
No, thank you.
And
I thought it was a hell of a performance, not to brag, but
Yeah,
Absolutely.
even Charles Mason said you had a bunch of cool, like almost eliminations. Like when someone whipped me, I was like, I like did the Spider-Man thing.
the one with you and Facade.
Toward the very end.
Oh yeah.
Because you didn't hit your time yet.
No,
You were like
Well, actually, probably did my stopwatch
On
was
his-
a little
on his
low.
but that
stopwatch.
wasn't. Yeah, well, Chris Banks was supposed to throw me out, so that's why I was
Yeah.
like, no, man.
That
But I was
like-
looking at him. I was like, he's like, yep. And I was like, okay, he's coming.
Had no good.
I didn't want to do the Andre thing, but it happened. But I'm like, oh, okay. I got
And
to
that
get
looked
back
like it could have been like you. I thought you were gonna get tied up like Macho Man
Yeah.
and Jake the Snake. That
Well, that's what he's talking about, the Andre thing.
yeah. Like, but it didn't look like it. I could have. If that was me, I would have dislocated my shoulder.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was like, oh my god. I didn't,
It was scary. I was like, oh shit.
and then I
Did you hear us yelling 32 minutes?
Yeah, really? No,
Yeah,
I didn't. I was too into it
screaming
at that point.
Yeah.
And then Chris threw me out, and I was like, hey, I'm going to go all the way out and like not touch the ring. And because usually a lot of guys will like touch and like tumble down. And I went all the way down, and I was like, oh, there's no mats here. And then like the next day, my feet were so sore, like my heels, because I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
And I just like was laying there. I was like, but it was really fun. And then like
Yeah,
I noticed
gotta-
like guys would go to the corners, and then the middle would open up. So that's like when I was over, and I was punching Deshaun or something. I was like, whip me off, reverse, give me something. And I was like, power slam. I was like, oh, spine buster. I'm like, okay. So like I would steal the middle because no one else is doing it, but I was giving him a lot of stuff too. It wasn't like me doing moves left and right.
Yeah, no, it worked out great, and like even like behind the scenes watching guys work before their match a little bit. Like I didn't want to like I would watch them work, but I would quick go away because I also didn't want to know what was happening before this did happen.
Yeah.
So I would like watching Deshaun and Bo work backstage, like, oh, I do this and that, and I was like, oh, I'm out of here. I don't want to.
Yeah.
But it was just cool to kind of see like. They're not in the ring before the night, working in the ring and figuring out. They're figuring out on the fly in the back.
Yeah.
In
Some
the-
guys call it too.
Yeah.
Not many. It's
It really showed just how much talent that roster has.
Yeah.
And you even had me believing, too. And it's getting down to it, like, and Drew Adams was about out at number 30. I'm like, is Andy winning this thing? Wow.
There goes Jose.
Andy's gonna win this thing. And then they bring out
goes
Facade.
Rembrandt.
And then they bring out Facade. It's like, okay, Facade's winning.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So when Facade first came out, I was like, oh, this is the Roman Reigns spot.
yeah.
He's going to win it. He just lost his title match, and now he's
Honestly,
coming
if
out.
I was there, I would have booed.
Yeah.
I would have been so pissed as he won. I would have been like, fuck that.
Yeah.
But-
you had your match.
But he comes the way he won it, and just I've never seen the PPW crowd explode like that.
they made the
that's
right
awesome.
call.
Yeah.
They made the right.
I
He
think-
was
yeah.
so over in that building.
And then the spot they did, the tables are plastic tables like this that the commentators guys sit at. Facade jumps off, like gets pushed off, like I think of the top rope,
There's something. Yeah.
And-
or the apron, one of the other.
apron, and jumps and lands on a plastic table. And it just didn't break. Like, it was a fucking miracle. And then Danny Moe jumps on her back, and she piggybacks him back to the ring, and he comes back in.
Yeah.
And during this exchange, Deshaun Pratt throws
Bro Keller.
Chris
Banks got thrown out.
Chris Banks gets thrown out, and then Deshaun Pratt throws out Bro Keller, but Deshaun Pratt is standing on the apron like, yeah, and he gets piggybacked. He jumps on the corner, does like a coast to coast, and then jumps off like. He could have slipped. Everything about the spot was like, but it wasn't even
close,
like you know what I mean. Like he goes, he tightrope walks, jumps, and drop kicks Deshaun Pratt, knocks him off the apron, and wins the Rumble. So
Yeah.
it was a great ending. Like,
Yeah.
So at first, I was like, oh, he's pulling the Roman spot, but just to see that crowd erupt, I was like, it was a good call.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, they're giving the crowd what
the
they
right way
want.
to go because you kind of thought. I guess they would have thought maybe I would win. Then when I was like, oh, when I was Deshaun's going to win.
Yeah.
So
But now they have to have him win the belt because they can't do he
Yeah,
lost.
they
and
can't
then-
do- yeah.
No,
He's got to win the belt.
It's clearly like that they're setting it up.
And then right before that, when I was laying on the floor, Daddy comes over. She's like, "We're doing something to move." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Oh yeah.
Yes,
We were told.
pulled away.
We were told by one of the guys in the commentary team, Scott. He was like, Danny comes up to me and he's like, move your laptop. I'm like, what? He goes, move your fucking laptop. Move your fucking laptop. And he's like, why? He goes, just move your laptop. And he moved, and he goes, I moved it, and as soon as I moved it, I see a body come at me. And it was fun, but yeah, it was so good, man. And so many people, like, obviously you looked great in the Rumble.
A lot of people got to shine, especially if I knew someone, I would go over and give them
Chris Banks looked amazing, not just with the Billy Gunn work, because he did a fantastic job with Billy Gunn, and so did Sambo Show. But he looked great in the Rumble. Deshaun Pratt had a great night working with Bro, and then had a great night in the Rumble. Rembrandt had a great night, and he just kind of played the chicken shit thing for a while.
And they're building up something with him and Fox, so they worked in a lot of storylines.
Rembrandt Fox is going to be a great match.
Seemed like they're working up hopefully something with you and Johnny that would be good there.
So that me and Bull, me and Chris Banks, me and what was that? Killian, and then somebody else too. I said like 4 of them. Like, this is awesome. Yeah, so here you go.
There's a lot of cool stuff.
And like I went over to Mauna Kea. I was like, I was like, step up around. What? He's like, and I whipped him off. He's like, oh, thanks for giving me that, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I knew you could do it. So,
but it was really,
and that was a big pop too when he hit that. And I was like,
oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was really good with Chris Banks because you kind of got to see two sides of him too. You got to see more of the personality with Billy Gunn, and then what he could do in the ring and the Rumble.
Yeah. It was such a good night. PPW, amazing job. A+.
Yeah, I think that Rumble was better than last year. It's not just because I was a big starter, but
no, I just thought overall talent wise that was fantastic.
And you even had like last year was Paul Bowe getting there. This year was C.R. O'Malley was in there. So you had your little spots where it's more of and then they really reinforced the.
They had Flying Hawaiian Keiko come back. He got a good pop. I thought
that was fantastic. And hopefully maybe his girls coming back too.
Sammy,
the Pantoras.
So I mean, I don't know. It was a fun time.
It was fantastic. We went really long with PPW, but that's that's our boys. NWA Power, we'll just kind of breeze over it real quick. Hard times, new tag team champions.
Knew a lot of champions.
Yeah. The women's champion, Thunder Rosa.
Women's TV title was announced. Was crowned.
First.
Ricky Starks.
Current.
Aldous did not lose his title.
No. Apparently it was non-title.
I thought it was too.
It was non-title at first, and then Marty came out and did an interview and was like, "Why the hell is Nick wrestling on the show and not defending his belt?" So then Nick came out and Nick was like, "Listen, I'll defend the belt, but if I win, then anything from here on out that you do with NWA, I call the shots. I choose when we have our match. I choose what the stipulation is for our match." And Marty was like, "All right," because he wanted to flip to have the shot at the belt, and then Nick beat him,
Yeah,
and then on NWA Power this week they did a really good face-to-face
the sit-down interview. I thought that was really, really good.
I can't believe that people are still saying that Nick every time I post Nick Aldis and All Things Wrestling, there's still people in the comments being like, "Oh, this TNA bum, like why is he champion?" I'm like, are you not watching the product? He's so freaking good, dude. Like, you are nuts.
If you're watching NWA and you don't appreciate Nick Aldis, I don't know what to tell you. He is phenomenal,
and he's like NWA has an open door policy to pretty much everybody except WWE.
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of people are taking them up on it.
Probably Impact.
Impact,
yeah, because Billy Corgan hates him.
Yeah.
But,
in fact, I think there's some kind of talk that maybe Ken Anderson might be...
Well, Billy Corgan took a picture at NWA Power, didn't he? Or was that an old foot with Billy Corgan at NWA?
Billy Corgan owns NWA.
Yeah.
Oh, he hates Impact. Yes.
Yeah.
Good. I forget. Sorry.
Ken Anderson got pulled from the pay-per-view because of that. That's why Tim Storm had a first-round bye.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
wow.
He was supposed to wrestle Ken, but the day before, Ken agreed to do that Impact throwback show.
Yeah,
the
TNA,
and he didn't run it by NWA, so they were pissed. They were like, "All right, you're off the show then."
They might just fire him.
It's interesting now. Scott Steiner is also on that show now. So
I think they have Brian.
Yeah, they probably.
Yeah, I think Scott was on anyway.
This tapings, but NWA continues to be really good.
Yep. NXT Worlds Collide. Another great night. I thought it was fun.
I only see the main event.
I watched. I breezed through it. I mean,
I didn't see
it was a lot of guys.
Though.
It was a lot of guys I didn't know.
Yeah.
So it was a way to introduce some people.
The 4-weight cruiserweight match, dude, was so good.
Yeah,
that match was great.
Yeah, surprise winner there.
Yeah, new cruiserweight champion,
and
with a black belt now. It's a black belt.
Yeah, it looks much better. But there's like little purple things in there.
It has NXT logo's dead center too.
Yeah, it has a hue of purple to it.
Yeah, it's much better.
And the match of the night though was definitely DIY versus Mustache Mountain.
Right.
That match was great.
Yeah, I gotta watch
really
that.
good.
I'm gonna watch the whole show. I only see the main event.
Royal Rumble. Fantastic Rumble. I thought all right, so a lot of people saying the card sucked.
I wouldn't say fantastic. I would say it was good.
I thought the card was
great.
good. I enjoyed the card. There was a couple matches where it was
Bailey versus Lacey was boring.
Super boring.
That was probably the worst match.
Fiend and Daniel Bryan was.
I thought that was pretty good.
That was
Daniel,
really good.
Daniel
No red
Bryan
light.
gets so much out of the
no
of
red light. And then someone made a good point. Well, if there was red light and they were slapping each other with the
Brown
strap, you
thing,
probably
you
wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't see the welts. So
Yep.
I hope there's no more red light.
Please,
I
no more
think
red light.
because
I enjoyed the match so much
the
more.
match got such positive reviews, they'll probably kill the red light.
Yeah,
You know
I hope
because
so.
so many people online were like, "Oh, thank God that red light's over."
Yeah.
You know? But I'll tell you what, dude. Daniel Bryan let Bray beat the shit out of him.
Yeah,
in
he
the match,
did,
'cause He
yeah.
had welts all over him, his back,
Well,
his ribs. Like he
Bray-
took a beating.
Bray Wyatt had a swollen eye.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, must have caught him with one of the knees or something.
Because at the end of the, I was like, is his mask just that out of whack?
Yeah, it was his right-
And his
right eye.
his right
Yeah.
eye was almost swollen shut.
I can't wait to see tomorrow if it's still like if
Yeah.
it's any better or not.
Well, he had a black eye previous. Like I seen a picture where he was getting his beard shaped up, and he had a black eye, and then I
wow.
guess he got hit again, and it's just swole. It's swole shut. So the Rumble, we'll just kind of jump. The women's Rumble. I thought
The women's one was good.
I thought it was
Some
good.
people were shitting on it.
See, I thought it was kind of boring. Like I wasn't that. I was into the first half of the Rumble. Like it was really good, and then once I'd say probably like Blair got eliminated, I feel like it started to go a little bit too predictable and downhill. Like I was like, oh fuck, here we go with Charlotte. Like
Yeah.
they.
I figured she win. That's why I picked the win.
I wanted Charlotte to win, to be honest.
I had it
See,
down as Charlotte and Shayna.
I picked Ronda because I figured it was either going to be her or Shayna, and I was wrong both ways. So it really wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah,
My pick wasn't even in there. I picked Sasha Banks.
oh wow, yeah.
Oh,
She's
shit.
I didn't realize
hurt.
she was hurt. Yeah.
yeah. A lot of cool returns. Naomi came back.
Don't like the hair, but I'm glad she's back.
I like the hair.
I love the dude. I thought she was so hot looking.
Yeah,
I hated the spot though. The spot that she had was the dumbest spot.
Yeah,
ever.
it took forever.
It was pathetic, dude. It was so,
I mean, it was cool when she caught the wall.
that was
but
the
if she
coolest
could have
part.
stood up and then jumped back.
Dude, the rest of it was so stupid. So she stands on one table where she's like 2 feet from the stairs. Easy jump.
Yeah.
Like anybody with any athleticism can make that jump.
I
Then
think
she goes,
Kofi did that before.
Yeah. So then she goes to the other. So then she goes to a further table.
Yeah.
And then she's like standing there looking like And then she goes to the even further table. And she's like, It's like. We all know you're not going to fucking jump from the very fucking far end of the table. So then she walks back, and then she's still looking like, and then she puts a thing across, and I'm like, you could literally jump from there to there and be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Why the hell are we dragging this out? Like,
And then when she got back, it was like boop, out.
exactly, it was
Right
so
out.
stupid.
I like Shotzi was in it. I mean, there's some
Lot of-
newcomers. I mean, they didn't get the best. The crowd really didn't know who they were yet.
a lot of NXT stars got to shine a little bit, which is always good.
Tony Storm.
Tony Storm. I don't care what you say. The Santina thing was hilarious.
I hated it.
Really?
I freaking
See, you
hated
do
it.
like the bad
And
stuff.
You like the shit,
just
dude.
just to tap himself and throw himself out the ring.
I
was
didn't
funny.
like it at all.
I thought Beth Phoenix looked fantastic.
She did. She's bleeding from the back of her head from God knows what. I
Well,
don't know
she was
what.
hanging off the back, and she was trying to. She was leaning on the cylinder where like they have the LEDs.
Oh, okay.
And it cut her.
Yeah.
And then when she sat up and she looked at the ref and she did like, I'm cut.
Yeah.
And two people were working on the corner, and the referee jumped up on the apron and was checking her.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, and then he got back off the apron, and then she pushed the girl off the corner, and then she got down, and then you just seen the blood coming from the back of her head. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's
she must have really got cut.
Yeah,
That's like
she
Ric
did.
Flair level in the 80s.
She looked fantastic. It set up a possible thing with her and Natalia, or well, her and Natalia could have something going on, or
Divas of Doom reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing that was like, it was cool, and in hindsight it's cool, but her and her husband Edge had the exact same Rumble.
Yeah.
They both turned on their tag partners. They both finished third. Like, they both had the same script. It was like,
That's
here
funny.
you go, guys. We're the same script. You're both in the same team
Yeah.
tonight.
but one had he had a really insane.
Yeah, well, I
entrance.
mean, who
Yeah.
was more popular?
And he hasn't been seen for 9 years in the
Yeah.
match. Beth was literally in the Rumble 2 years ago.
Yeah, last year or whatever.
And then Charlotte wins, which I mean, kind of. It could have went either way.
I'm fine with it. They want to give Charlotte everything.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, they got to get that under her
If
belt.
she really is going to pick Rhea Ripley, which is what Dave Meltzer's reporting, and I'll believe it when I see it. I mean, I reported on it. That's what he reported on, but he said it was, she was going to probably show up this Wednesday. That didn't happen, so they're probably going to hold it off for a while.
I'd like to see that. And I want to see her versus
If that's what
Becky.
they're going to do, then she had to win, because there's no other way that a Raw superstar could challenge for the NXT title.
Yeah.
Like, I see a lot of people like, well, that's dumb as hell. Why didn't Shayna just win? And then she could have challenged her anyways. It's like, how the fuck does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like, she couldn't then.
Yeah.
So I guess we're seeing.
And that'd be because here's the thing, Charlotte. Realistically, if she's in a serious relationship now, and now she's getting engaged, she's getting married, she's probably going to want to have a kid soon.
No, who knows?
You never know.
Yeah, not everyone wants a kid. like
yeah.
me.
But if she does, get the Rumble out of your way, go and pass the torch to Rhea, and maybe disappear for a year or two.
I can't see her.
I don't
can't
think
see
that's
her doing
gonna
that
happen.
either.
I
No?
can't see her doing that. If she was to have a kid, she'd be back the day after she had the kid.
I think the thing with Rhea is
she has that flair in her, so she'll wrestle until she dies.
Yeah.
I think the thing with this is it's another way to try to lift NXT.
Yeah.
It's putting an established star on NXT.
It's strictly just for ratings because NXT once again this week lost AEW again.
Oh, did it? I didn't see the ratings. Yeah, Charlotte on NXT and she challenged that. That's all. That's everyone's interested in that. No one's really interested in Charlotte Becky. I mean, the match will be good, but we've seen that.
And even if it's Charlotte Bailey, it's like that doesn't do anything for anybody because Charlotte's going to be the face. They're not going to turn Bailey face right.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and Bailey's a bad heel, so it's just like,
it feels like we're going to kind of work our way to Sasha Bailey if Sasha's healthy.
It just seems like Bailey's time as champion is just being a placeholder for Banks.
That's how that's exactly how it feels. But
I like Bailey.
I don't know because Sasha's not doing nothing.
She's apparently not cleared still, which is weird. I don't know what the hell. No one reported what she's hurt from.
Usually when that happens, it's a concussion. Usually they're not reporting.
Remember when Alexa was out for a while?
Yeah, hers was a back concussion.
And now Joe has a concussion too.
Dude, I made this point on All Things Wrestling, yo. I hate to say it because I love Joe and he's one of my favorites, but you can't tell me this dude's not injury prone. He's hurt all the time, man. He's not going to ever be world champion.
No.
And it's because he showed up to WWE too late. He was too old, and the schedule of the road is too hard on him.
Yeah, it's too hard. That's why they need to, they have so many people, they could just alternate. Hey, instead of doing 5 house shows a week, you're only going to do 3 now.
They're cutting back a lot on
I read that
shows.
too.
That would help the guys out tremendously.
They're doing 1 or 2 a week now. It's not only that, but they're
fuzzy on your mic. It's driving me crazy. See it?
It's a hair.
Yeah.
It's not only that they're keeping the people healthier, but it's also they're losing money on house shows.
Yeah, because the tickets aren't going.
Yeah, but they're $200 a front row for a house show. It used to be $50.
Yeah, they should be more fan friendly.
Yeah, just don't bring all that shit. Just have the fucking a little tiny.
Yeah, you don't have to bring fucking everything from Raw. What the fuck?
It's a house show. People are like, they're just expecting a little. Have the same guys come out and wrestle.
Make it feel like an indie show.
Yeah.
At this point, NXT is actually going to have more house shows than Raw or SmackDown. And part of it is because of the way they pay them, where NXT wrestlers are salaried. And Raw wrestlers get paid per show, and they get paid on the house.
I'll tell you what, the house shows that they're doing for NXT are paying dividends because a girl like Shotzi comes out in that crowd and they pop. Well, because they're watching her work the house shows.
Yeah, well, it's not only that, but NXT does 2 house show loops. You have the main people that are on TV a lot, and they're the ones that go all around the country, but they also have what they call the Largo loop, which are people who are newer, like more of the projects, people who aren't ready for TV yet.
Yeah.
And
that's what they learn.
And they stay around Florida. And a lot of the people that go to Full Sail are going to these little house shows all around Florida. And they're also really tight in. They know Shotzi from everything else Shotzi's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
she was an actress, right? She was an actress first.
She's been wrestling for a while.
I don't know.
What do you know? What she is? Is she Hispanic?
She's Asian.
I said Asian.
It's hard to tell because she wears heavy makeup and she has green hair. So
so we were trying to. Me and Heidi were watching. We're like, is she Filipino? Is she Vietnamese?
I don't know.
We were trying. We couldn't find it out. We couldn't figure
Filipino.
it out. Filipino.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, her Twitter thing is Filthy Filipino. TCB.
Oh wow,
Filthy Filipino. So we know we're halfway there.
Maybe at least partially here. Filipino, yeah. Looks like going by her last name, she may also be Polish, unless she's adopted.
No.
So then Men's Rumble. Brock comes out at 1, and then
a little too long, I think,
and just destroys.
I didn't mind it as much as a lot of other people did.
I hated it.
I think they should have capped it at 10.
So I hated it.
It would have been fine shorter. I would have been okay with it being shorter.
I was like, oh my god, this is fucking how did they who pitched this and thought this was a good idea? But then once the payoff happened, my brain rewired itself, and I was like, it made sense to do what they did.
I felt the same exact way when I first watched it, just like you guys. And the thing I was like, dude, this is a dumpster fire. I hated it. But rewatching the Rumble a second time, I watched it the next morning. I was like, fuck, I totally, they need to have the crowd hate this so much because the payoff was so great. That crowd went fucking nuts.
Once Drew kicked him in the face,
yeah,
Drew was a made man.
Yeah, the only thing I wouldn't have done, that I would have done a little differently, I wouldn't have had the low blow with Ricochet. I would have had Drew just put him out clean.
They did that as a payback because
what if that was Kofi?
It made no sense for Ricochet to get kicked in the balls on Monday. Like that, if you didn't pay that off in the Rumble, that just buries Ricochet because he looked like shit.
I would have not had John Morrison come out number 3.
No,
that could have been Kurt Hawkins.
And some of those eliminations. Like John Morrison came down, I was like, oh, he looked like he blew his knee out.
Yeah.
And then he didn't. And then
poor John Morrison, he is exactly where he was in 2008.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, you're back. You're doing that again.
Some people's eliminations that Brock did was
Ricochet flew out of there.
Kofi's.
I also don't think like when Keith Lee and Braun came out, why were they fighting each other?
That's exactly what I said in the comment.
Like,
in our group chat, I was like, they look dumb as fuck right now.
They look
if
like
you
two
have
idiots.
Brock down, but then they look at each other like, oh, let's like.
And
no,
then,
you have the guy who just eliminated 10 people,
and then Braun gets out of
the
the ring to go give Keith Lee that stupid thing. I'm like, you should throw Brock out.
I wish they would just go back to Braun being Braun and not Braun. I have to pay to the crowd, Braun.
Yeah,
it kind of makes
Vince
more
lost his luster with Braun, so now he's just floating around.
He's a guy, yeah.
He just. I mean, he might win the Intercontinental title tomorrow night though. He's facing Nakamura for the belt, so I think
maybe
he probably will win that.
And then like MVP came out, it's like, okay, it's cool to see the guys back. You know they're not going to win, but now he's really not going to do anything because Brock's in there.
That was my only problem I had with him, man. Like, I wouldn't have had Morrison take that. He could have took Miz's spot. Like, Miz came out after Lesnar was gone, and like, Drew eliminated him a couple minutes later. But that could have been Morrison. Let him get a little high flying move thing. Like,
do something.
Yeah, do something. Like, that could have been Miz in that spot. You bring MVP back just so you have a funny gif of Brock dancing to his music.
Yeah.
Like, what fucking who cares?
Well, MVP is going to be, from what I heard, he's going to stick around a little bit.
Well, no,
he's saying now
he's saying he's done. He's saying Raw was his last. He thanked WWE and everything. And
Okay, wow.
And I even made a post about it. And I was like, this was dumb as hell. What was the point? Who got anything out of this? And people in the comments were like, well, he did it because he has a son, and his son now watched him wrestle. And I was like, okay, fine.
And guys like that, the real reason the Rumble is so you can hear their music. They come out and they get pop.
And you get a pop, but like,
And he had cool gear.
Yeah,
I like
the Black Panther gear.
Yeah,
And then he
I
had
don't like
Punisher
his,
gear on one
I never
day.
liked his gear per se.
Yeah.
because the long sleeves and shorts always look stupid. But
Yeah, the Black Panther looked cool. So then we go a little longer in the Rumble, and then Edge music pops, and everyone's like, "Holy shit, this is happening!" And then we were trying to figure out the final four. I forgot completely about Aleister Black. And then he came out, and then Seth was your 29. Joe.
No, Joe was 29 and Seth
I know,
was 30.
but the Joe KO spot where they just looked at each other like, all right, and they just start fighting each other. That was fun.
I thought that back half of the Rumble was pretty good.
It was like it was totally two different
Yeah.
Rumbles. It was great. That's the only reason I think this Rumble was so good, because it did give you a full story, and then it gave you like an actual Rumble.
And then one of the reasons I was okay with the Brock thing too is it makes it distinctive. Like certain Rumbles just bleed together. You'll always remember, this is the Rumble where Brock killed half the people.
Yeah.
I wish that they didn't count the stupid greatest Royal Rumble bullshit because that's not a Royal Rumble. Nobody counts as a Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Braun won that. He didn't get he didn't get a title shot.
No, he got that belt that don't matter.
Yeah.
I thought it was
One of the
fun,
funniest things ever is I somebody I know called that the oil Rumble.
The oil
But
Rumble,
my
that's
point
very
is,
good.
though, is like, Brock should have the official elimination record.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, he tied with Braun at 13. Well, Braun was in a Rumble with 50 fucking people. So if that Rumble would have been 50 people, Brock would have eliminated 23 people.
Yeah.
So it's stupid that they count that as the shit, but whatever.
It was overall a good Rumble. Raw, once again, actually a decent Raw. It was entertaining. I had fun with it.
Didn't see any.
Some good matches in there.
I would not have Drew lose though until. Well,
he squashed the OC.
Yeah, I don't think he will.
I would not have him lose at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Leading the WrestleMania.
Yeah. But the main thing for Raw, we'll just cover because we are getting a little long here, is Randy Orton comes out.
Oh, yeah. That
talks
was
to Edge.
best thing, yeah.
And then he throws an RKO on him and then beats the shit out of him and looks like he's going to break his neck in a chair and then kind of walks away. So,
dude, I haven't seen a crowd that deeply bought into a segment in probably like 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, people were legitimately worried for Edge in that crowd. Like, they kept panning people's faces, and they were literally like, "Oh my, he's gonna hurt this. He's gonna kill this guy."
Daniel Bryan first wrestled.
Yes, they were so fucking worried about it, dude.
I'm still like that when Daniel Bryan.
And there were such little nuances, man. Like when Orton hits him right in the freaking spine with the chair, and then they like pan back and show Edge, and Edge is on the ground and he's like shaking his hands like it's actually a spine.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's such good fucking professional wrestling acting right here. Like, this is so goddamn good.
And it's a great spot to go in because you don't even need. I mean, it probably would be awesome to see Edge and AJ, but I mean, I'm not going to
hurt his shoulder.
I'm not going to complain that if we get Edge and Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
That's exactly how I felt before when the Rumble happened. I was like, oh shit, I want to see Edge AJ. Because like Edge speared him right away, and then like AJ, I didn't like he got hurt or whatever. But after Raw, I'm like, I don't want to see anybody else now but Orton and Edge. It was such a good segment that like the payoff's going to be great when Orton loses that Mania to Edge. Like it's going to be nuts. Like, anyway.
They are hoping though. They are hoping that AJ can be back for Mania.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he might be able to because it's just the way he landed.
He's a tough dude. He's really tough. It's hard to keep him down. NXT AEW this week. I fell asleep and then had to rewatch it once again. NXT was fun. The final of the classics. The Broserweights win, which was a really entertaining match.
It was a really good match. It was the match of the week like for them in AEW for sure.
Yeah. trying to think. I mean,
That
Shotzi came out in the
that
tank.
team does nothing for me though. I really hate Matt Riddle and because
Yeah, I don't like
they
to throw
would
together
never
teams.
work together.
Yeah.
Like in reality, their personalities are so fucking different.
they remind me a lot of just like a Rock and Sock connection a little bit. Like
Yeah.
at the Rumble one there, and he's like, I want to be very blunt when I say this. Matt Riddle is going to smoke you, and he's
Yeah.
just like,
I like that stuff.
and he's like,
Dude, all this talk about manipulating joints, I just started to daydream. That was great when he said,
and then he was like, I know I'm smiling from ear to ear, and I know he's smiling ear to ear, and he looked over and goes, he's really happy. Just like the small things like that. I
Yeah.
do like this team for that.
You could do like the odd couple thing for a
Yeah,
while.
100%.
As long as the payoff's going to be, which I think it will be, is going to be eventually Pete Dunne's sick of his stoner bullshit
Yeah.
and just beats the shit
Oh, yeah.
out of him. Like, then
Absolutely.
cool, whatever.
yeah, which I think it will be.
Then they set up the Ciampa Adam Cole thing was cool. The Keith Lee. I mean, they're trying to find a rivalry for Keith Lee now.
Yeah.
It was a good setup
You
show.
have your little mystery with 2-5-20.
yeah.
I think
Whatever
you're
that might
100%
be.
right though. Like, because I've seen people on the interview
Dream?
like it's Dream. Yeah, it's got to be Dream because
Yeah.
the circles make out the stupid glasses
Oh,
that he
really?
wears.
Unless
Yeah,
it's some
so-
new guy, but you're like, oh, we don't know who
I've seen
you
some
are.
people say maybe it's going to be the smoke show that
Scarlett.
Scarlett.
Yeah,
but I was
Killer
like,
Cross is apparently looking like he's coming in soon.
Do you think she comes out immediately with him as a valet?
I think so.
Probably.
Really? Do you think they put them together? I don't know.
I think it'd be like a Beauty and the Beast thing where, like, she's like his handler and he just like nuts and she has to like calm him down and shit.
You know who
With her boobs.
Oh,
Yes.
The only thing that calms him down is her smoking hot body.
yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna kill, and she's like, and he's like,
hey, would that not work?
Yeah.
No matter how angry you are, if she
oh.
bent her ass
Yeah,
over,
you'd
you'd
be like, hey, now,
all
listen,
right, I'll calm down.
we seen her at PPW.
Ben lost his mind.
Ben couldn't function.
Yeah.
Ben was like,
Ben was talking in tongues.
yeah, he was. She was unbelievable.
You know who I absolutely hate? I always didn't like him at all, and I really can't stand him. Is that fucking Robbie E? His
Oh,
character
yeah.
with
Yeah.
Chelsea Green.
Which I think is fun.
He looks
He
like
like all the terrible stuff.
he looks like he could be Jameson's yuppie
Oh,
son.
I just want to punch him in the
On
face.
Reddit.
I think that's why I like it.
I always hated him. I hate him when he's Jersey Shore. I hate
That
him when he
shit
did
was
that
so
other
stupid.
stupid gimmick. Oh, fucking.
See, to me,
and he's not that good.
To me, that just rings 80s wrestling, like 90s, 80s wrestling.
There's so many guys that would be better managers though.
Yeah.
Like, there was a giant thread on Reddit that they're literally doing, and I don't believe this.
Yeah.
But there's a thread on Reddit that they're doing it as a shot as Tony Khan.
Yeah, he's supposed to be Tony
That he's supposed to
Khan.
be Tony Khan because he's like this nerd with glasses
Yeah.
and shit. Like, if they actually sat down and thought about that, then that's hilarious. But I don't think. I think it's just a coincidence. He looks kind of like Tony
Yeah.
Khan.
And then Chelsea Green was the hot mess, right?
Yeah,
That was so
Laurel.
much better than
Yeah.
hot chick she's doing
And
now.
then she
Like,
was also the physical therapist back in the day that Stephanie brought in to say that Daniel Bryan cheated on
Oh,
her.
really?
Oh yeah,
I
I
didn't
remember
know that.
I remember that.
She was on Tough Enough too. She was a replacement when somebody left.
Yeah, but I can't stand Rob, whatever his name is, Rob something.
Rob
Robbie.
Stone now, I think.
Yeah.
They call him.
Yeah, Robert Stone, I think it is.
yeah. AEW. I'm gonna be honest. AEW was fun. It
was okay this week.
It did nothing for me at
Yeah,
all. this
nothing
week.
jumped
Nothing.
nothing jumped off the screen to me.
Chris Jericho's sweet Bobby Heenan jacket.
Just Hangman giving the
Yeah,
beer.
that was the best
Yeah.
part. That was
Yeah.
the best part.
So the cruiserweight. I mean, not the cruise. The cruise when everyone sang his music,
Mm-hmm.
and then it went viral. So now every crowd's trying to be that.
Yeah, but
crowd.
it is not
and he
as
comes
good.
on and goes, "You guys are stupid idiots." Like it's, but what's her name's promo? Where Britt Baker. Weak, but the ending was awesome. She goes, now you have a Baker in Cleveland that you can rely on.
Yeah, there was a
See, I didn't get that, so I was
yeah,
like, I
just a
don't-
quarterback for the
Yeah,
Browns.
my
quarterback for
favorite
the
part
Browns.
was when she digged that fucking Jerry. She's like, "You can't get anybody's name right."
Yeah,
And like that's the
someone
fucking
said
true.
they think he's doing that on purpose now because he said Matthew Jacob Friedman.
I
was like,
think he just doesn't fucking
I don't
care.
know.
He just
Yeah,
did for a paycheck.
That one, it's because I saw you guys talking about that in the group chat, and then I watched AEW second. I think that one with MJF was intentional.
I don't know
Because
because
it
I
kinda-
watched him
I
do
don't know.
commentary for
Hard to
Access
tell.
for New Japan, and he didn't know fucking like he
Yeah.
didn't even get the American wrestler's name.
I remember he had the
right.
Briscoes mixed
Yeah,
up.
it was fucking bad, dude.
Speaking of the Briscoes, they just re-signed with Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why?
But it's like-
they've done everything they can do there.
They're just one of those people. They're just happy to be
I
there.
guess,
and they're
yeah.
happy to be the legends there. Like so, it's just they're gonna
Yeah,
be there
big
forever.
fish in a small pond.
Yeah, exactly.
So it really goes
Yeah.
down to just AEW was good. The highlights is the Moxley Jericho thing. Everything
Yeah,
else
Moxley's
is kinda,
promo was good. I mean, the tag match with the Bucks and
It was weird.
Butcher
If you
Blade was
rewatch
good.
the AEW segment, the beginning one, where like the 10 guys jump Moxley.
Oh, that was weird.
At the very end,
Cheech is in it.
At the very end, this one guy like swings on Moxley, and you could tell Moxley wasn't prepared for it, and like it just missed Moxley, and Moxley looked like he turned around legit pissed and literally swung on him, and he was like, "Dude, get the fuck away from me!" And I was like, "Yo," the guy like stepped back, like,
Like I would just assume they're all indie guys, but a couple of them like Spanish guys. I'm like, there, I think they just got them off the street.
Yeah, it looked a little weird.
You look like a thug. Come on,
It looked like LAX really just hired their friends to be in the segment.
But the guy that took the DDT was Cheech from Cheech and Clown.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh, that looks like Cheech. I'm like,
well.
it is Cheech.
And then we had some big news today too, where this is more kind of behind the scenes in the boardroom. WWE made some huge moves corporately. George Barrios, who was the CFO, and Michelle, I can't remember her last name.
It's in the thing, yeah.
It was a bummer for me.
I legit didn't know who they
I
were.
own $2 worth of stock in WWE.
Not anymore.
They
You
went
don't.
down to fucking 20%.
Not anymore. You know, they Michelle Wilson, I believe is her name. They were the co-presidents of the company, and they have both been relieved of their duties.
Now, I wonder why. It'll probably come out.
It seems like, and this is what's been reported, that next week they do their quarterly investors earning call where like they just say this is the profit, this is everything. Apparently, it's going to be really bad.
Oh.
And these two are the scapegoats.
Well, it's not their fault. It's Vince's fault. It's shitty booking's fault.
Yeah, but Vince is going to fire himself.
Yeah,
So
I mean that's if you can somehow
Vince is going to fire
do
himself.
a mutiny. I mean that's the reason why I don't watch Raw SmackDown.
I wish Vince would just hand over the reins and worry about the accident.
Yeah.
You can't really do a mutiny when he owns 87%.
But like there has to be something. Like let's say I own a business, I'm like totally corrupt.
I mean,
Like there has to be something the people could do.
I guess if all the investors got together and said, "Hey, you need to go," then maybe you could do it. But that's not going to happen because they are still making money. Despite all this, they are still making money.
They are making, but I mean, they're not making as much as they could.
But Vince has lost a lot of money on this. But this news, this came out after the stock market had closed for the day, but they still do. You can still do after hours trading, and I'm going to look it up here real quick because I know at one point afterward. After hours trading, WWE stock was down 20 points.
Wow.
Yeah, it is now. It closed the day at $62.30 a share.
Sorry.
It is now at $47.99 a share. It's lost just under 23% of its value.
That's crazy.
In after hours trading.
You know, the shitty video game didn't help either.
No, that game was such bullshit.
You know, so that's, I mean, that and the 3 hours of Raw, it's like,
But yeah, these people weren't like involved creatively or anything like that. These are money people.
Yeah.
These are money people.
They're just scapegoats.
Just like
that's exactly what it is. They're the ones that are
next
week
they'll fire Pritchard and say, "Oh, it's your fault."
Yeah, SmackDown's a piece of shit because of you, Pritchard. And it's like, fuck.
It's your fault because you want to turn Roman Reigns heel.
Does this mean that now Barrios and Wilson are going to go do a podcast with Conrad?
Oh yeah. No, it'll be all money stuff like, oh, this is so boring.
Go on there and start telling stories, you'll get hired back immediately.
Yeah, you'll get a job somewhere. Everyone that has a podcast gets a job.
There is
Sean Moody's in NWA.
There is actually a show.
We can film at PPW.
Yeah.
there is actually a show. I think it's Voices of Wrestling. It's called WrestleNomics Radio, and there used to be two guys on it, but the one guy is. That was on there, Chris Harrington, who was an awesome dude. He was the first hire for All Elite Wrestling. He's like an analytics guy. He's a like more analytics than finance. And he was the one that Tony Khan went to, like, hey, is this viable? Hey, could we do this? And he's like, they crunched the numbers, and then All Elite was kind of born out of that. And it's so cool because when they do press conferences and stuff, a lot of times you'll see him, and he's one of the guys where I'm really, really happy that he's doing that.
Yeah, so for news, I mean, that's pretty much it that we got. There is another story that's out there. I don't know if I would even want to entertain it, to be honest. The backstage nonsense.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
I'm even torn on like the Meltzer stuff, to be honest, because like we were kind of talking about on the way up. Like, imagine if you are someone who stays away from all that. You stay away from the Meltzer reports. You stay away from the backstage drama. And you had zero idea that Edge was coming.
Yeah.
Like, even the people that had an idea that he may come still popped. Mm-hmm. But, like, I don't want to say I want us to be like a pure, true wrestling show, because we are already mostly all invested in that, and we do talk a lot about it in the chat. But I'm just debating on not, like, if we want to put that on the page, or do we even want to dive into that? Because, like, that backstage hate nonsense and, like, this person may hate this person. I don't know. I don't know how I'm torn on it. I'd have to maybe pull the group, but there's some stuff going on supposedly with Lesnar and Matt Riddle. I can care less.
It's just to boil it down. Lesnar basically said, "Stop quoting me in your tweets. I'm never going to work with you." And people are mad at Matt Riddle. And
listen, it is what it is.
That's pretty much all there is to it. And that's why he was out so quick on the Rumble.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much
pretty
it.
easy to find that information if you would look for it.
Exactly. If you want to dive,
you know what I
breaking
say?
any news
If
here.
you're gonna punch the guy, don't put him in the Rumble.
yeah,
Just tell him to go home
yeah.
and put somebody else in the Rumble. That could have been John Morrison's spot, and Kurt Hawkins could have did John Morrison's spot. There you go.
Or you
Yeah.
could have had Santino in the Rumble. And
Oh,
Santino.
God, yeah.
Santino and Santina.
Santino with Brock Lesnar.
He could have ruined 2 Rumbles.
Imagine you're the Iconics and you're in the back, and fucking Santino gets a spot of Santina and you don't. I know
Well,
that the
they
Iconics
just came out
suck.
today that the chicks in the back were pissed. They were
Like,
furious.
wouldn't you be mad? I'd be
Fuck
pretty
yeah.
pissed.
Fuck yeah, I'd be pissed.
What Mickey James?
It seems like with the...
I think she's more creative now.
She
But,
helped,
I mean, she could have did that.
yeah,
for a
behind the
Rumble.
scenes, apparently, her and Triple H put like some... They kind of...
Yeah, but
They did what you did. They
Until
kinda,
her
like-
contract's up and she goes to
No.
NWA.
You think so?
Nick Aldis,
Oh,
her
yeah,
husband.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So yeah, our topic tonight is
The winner.
the winner of the
Ro-
Men's Royal Rumble. And-
Although, I will note, I saw the Times. I was reading the Observer today, and they had the Times. No one in either WWE Royal Rumble lasted as long as Andy had.
How about that? Yeah. Alexa got 31 minutes, right? No,
I think
not
Bianca.
31.
Bianca had the longest
Yeah, Alexa
time
had
of anybody.
28.
yeah,
Something like
28. So Andy Hedder is the
that.
king
for
of the Rumble
weekend.
this weekend.
Yeah, how about that? There's probably some Rumble somewhere else.
Well,
Probably
realistically,
an hour and a half.
Killian lasted longer than anyone in WWE too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because Brooke went over to him then and said 36 something.
yeah.
Yeah, so, hey.
You guys pulled the British Bulldog,
Almost.
almost. British
Yeah,
Bulldog
that would have
Shawn
been
Michaels.
sweet. I would love to do that.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about a guy who leaves the company, gets really, really muscular, comes back, and he's gonna win a title. And we don't mean Jinder Mahal.
That was his old bandmate.
Just that meme, it's like, what's his name? Heath Slater, you know what
Heath
to do.
Slater has to leave. Yep.
Yeah.
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 So we get super attracting him back.
He
And
has to
he'll be
leave.
like Intercontinental champion.
Yeah.
What if Heath Slater comes back and he's like mini fucking Brock Lesnar?
Oh, God. You know what was shocking? Shelton Benjamin is as big as Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Push Shelton Benjamin.
That was one of the few spots in the Rumble where I actually dig because, like, I don't mind the Kofi stuff and the Mysterio and Big E stuff because it all made storyline sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't mind the Shelton stuff because that made storyline sense because they were roommates in college.
Yeah, and they were the
close.
tag team
Yeah,
in,
so
Minnesota
it was,
stretching
it was
crew, yeah.
pretty cool. Like, I like that part.
Brock had some issues moving. I think when it came down to like when they were working with each other and they were kind of moving each other around. What's it?
Keith Lee?
No, not Keith Lee. Elias was kind of moving Lesnar a little bit. Like Lesnar had a hard time moving him.
No, that
Like-
might be because Elias is not good.
He's just a
Might have
he's-
dead-weighted him a
He's
little
a
bit.
big dude too.
He is big, yeah. It's a shame he's not better
I bet
in the ring.
I want him so bad to be in a biopic of Randy Savage.
Yeah.
He just seems like a strong man. He just seems like he comes off as a strong dude, man.
It's just like...
A dude man.
Strong dude, man.
He has a great gimmick and he can talk, but man, when the bell rings, it's like, there's nothing there. Just blah.
Yeah. All right. So tonight's topic.
Drew McIntyre.
Drew
or
McIntyre.
Drew Galloway, if you're a fan of
Galloway! He's in TNA.
who was born June 6, 1985 in Ayr, Scotland. And he actually was athletic as a kid. He was a football player, as we would say there, or here we would say a soccer player. He played in school for Prestwick Academy. His team was Rangers. There's 2 big teams in Glasgow in Scotland. It's Rangers and Celtic FC, and he was a Rangers fan. Is a Rangers fan. But he started training at 15.
Wow.
His parents allowed him, as long as he stayed with his studies, they allowed
Yeah.
him to start training wrestling at 15. He would go all the way from Scotland down into England. I think it was like 6 hours each way, to almost like with Mick Foley getting into his car and going to Pittsburgh. He would get in there and train with the FWA Wrestling Academy. This is when FWA was the big company in England, and he had like Johnny Storm and people like that there. And he learned a lot from those guys too. Alex Shane, Doug Williams. I
Okay,
love
Doug Williams.
Doug
Yeah,
Williams.
Chaos Theory.
Paul Burchill was around
Pirate
back
Paul.
then too.
Yeah. Paul, I always thought he didn't get a fair shake.
So did I that one C4 movie did. I
Yeah.
always loved this. The
backflip rock bottom.
Yeah, the backflip rock. The one man. The
Yeah.
flux capacitor, but off the ground. And remember, he was doing the. It's going to be about everybody but Drew McIntyre. Remember they were doing that incest thing?
Yeah,
with
when he
him
liked
and
the
Katie
sister.
Lee?
She
Yeah,
was so hot.
yeah, and then she was Winter in TNA.
Yeah. And he just went into obscurity.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I liked Paul Burchill, and so he breaks in there with FWA, and he worked with Irish Whip Wrestling in Ireland too.
What a great name. Fed
It's a
in
great
Ireland.
name. And so one of his early...
Russian leg sweep wrestling in Russia.
That'd be great. One of his early tag team partners was a guy named Stu Sanders.
What a name.
Real name
Stu Bennett.
Stu Bennett, yeah. And then he wound up being Wade Barrett, of course, in WWE.
Some bad news for you.
And his big rival in Irish wrestling was Sheamus O'Shaughnessy.
Oh, we know who he is. He's
Yeah.
just Sheamus now.
And we were talking about how Drew's a big fan of Rangers, the soccer team. Sheamus is a big fan of Celtic FC, which is their biggest rival.
See, Sheamus busted open
Gable's ear.
Gable's.
Oh, really? I didn't get
ear.
to see that. That was in the pre-show.
It reminded me of one of the Kimbo fights when Kimbo was in like Elite XC or one of those. He fought James Thompson, and he just exploded his ear. He had the cauliflower too, and just hit him right on the ear, and just went.
Sheamus worked him stiff, man. He beat the shit out of him.
That's what.
Sheamus beat the shit out of everybody. Jericho says one of the stiffest.
Yeah.
That
Which
pouting,
is funny
yeah.
because everybody on the independents, like Kenny and Cody and all them, they're like, Jericho's the stiffest person we ever wrestled. Like, he beat the shit out of you. And it's like, dude.
You know
that's
who
how it
looks like he
works.
works really stiff too? Finn Balor. It looks like he doesn't give a
No,
shit
Finn
about.
does. Finn beats because it's the same kind of shit. Finn's from New Japan, dude.
Yeah.
They're all, that's what they
Yeah.
run over there. You have to
Dude,
beat the fuck out of
when
each
he
other.
kicks in soccer and hits it with that coup de grace,
Yeah.
it doesn't even look like he's
Dude,
holds
we didn't
back.
get a touch on that, but that's actually my favorite thing from this whole weekend that they're setting up slowly is Finn Balor's going to eventually have a feud with Tyler Bate, and dude, that's going to fucking be
That should be
nuts.
real good
Because
stuff, yeah.
at the very end of Worlds Collide, after Johnny Gargano's match, Finn Balor comes backstage and starts beating the shit out of him, and then Tyler Bate picks Balor up and shoves him away. He's like, get the fuck away from him. And Balor's like, you want to put your nose in this? He's like, all right. He's like, you're next then. And then Trent Seven's outside in his car, and he's talking, he's getting interviewed, and Balor comes over and starts fucking choking him with his car. He's like, you tell your buddy that he's dead. And
He kicked the shit out of Trent.
on
That's cool.
NXT.
And then that was the opening this week. Balor.
Oh my god!
Trent
When he was on the apron, just kind of taunting, and he
fucking kicked him.
he kicked him right in
Yeah,
the back
he
of the
did.
head.
Yeah.
He's it's a good thing he's 112 pounds because if he was 207, he worked that stiff, he would kill people.
That was like one of my favorite things was always how they would talk about in Mick Foley's book. He had a thing about how he always wondered how Terry Funk threw such a good left hand and it looked so good.
Yeah.
And then he finally wrestled Terry Funk, and Terry Funk just punched him right in the
Terry,
face.
how do you make that punch look so good? I just punch him right in the face.
I don't hold back.
Right
I
there.
don't hold back, Mick. I just kill him. Yeah, sorry, that was off topic, but go ahead.
So around 2006, he's got a few years under his belt now, and Drew Galloway always looked like a superstar. Too, and that helped. He's naturally really tall. He's always had a good physique. He's about 6'6", I think, 6'7". And so he started working with some name people. He started working. Go Shiozaki came in from Japan. He worked with him. He worked with T.J. Wilson before he became Tyson Kidd. And by 2007, by the end of 2007, about 4 years in, and he's only 22 years old, WWE makes a call. And he was one of those guys where he was on TV right away, not for long. But this was around the time that Regal and Dave Taylor were a tag team in WWE on SmackDown. And they put Drew McIntyre with Dave Taylor. And in October of 2007, he has his first match on TV, and he beats Brett Major of the Major
One of the
Brothers,
Major Brothers.
who is now Zack Ryder.
Oh boy, so he was losing all the way back then.
And then the next week, he beat Brian Major, who was Kurt Hawkins. And I think that was like right before they became the Edgeheads.
Yeah.
'Cause I think that was that November they became the Edgeheads.
I don't know. He probably is like a huge dick in real life, but something about Kurt Hawkins, man, I kind of like him.
No, he's cool. Kurt Hawkins in real life was cool. Zack Ryder in real life, though, has like some kind of weird, like, he's way too overconfident for a guy who's never accomplished dick.
Yeah.
Like, he's super cocky in
Didn't
real
some
life.
people
It's
say
weird.
when Kurt Hawkins at PPW was kind of an ass?
Was Kurt Hawkins there?
At PPW, or someone said that Kurt Hawkins
I don't ever remember him
has a
being
bad
there.
reputation or something like that.
I don't know. I've never met him, so I can't say.
He seems cool as hell. Like in that show that with the toys.
Oh, yeah.
I can care less about Zack Ryder. Kurt Hawkins.
See, I don't like them, their gimmicks so much that I don't like them. I just don't want to hear them.
I like the show. I like just to watch Zach spend an unreasonable amount of money.
Yeah,
like,
toys.
dude, spending $5,000 on an action figure.
Yeah, that's
I would punch
crazy.
myself in the
Yeah.
face, dude. None less my wife. Like,
Kurt's like,
Jane would beat the
Kurt's
shit.
like,
out of me.
the reason I'm frugal is because we're not getting very good pushes.
Yes.
We should probably slow down.
And he has kids, which Zach doesn't. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and Hawkins also had a couple of years where he wasn't making WWE money, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually saw him. I went to the Global Force show they did in Harrisburg.
Oh boy.
Way back when, back in 2014, I think.
Yeah,
2015.
that's around there.
And he wrestled Chris Masters at that show.
Yeah.
I think he was going. No, I think it was
That was a
Chris.
banger.
I think he went by Chris Adonis. I think that was the name.
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
show.
Adonis,
Chris
yeah.
Adonis. Ugh.
No, we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So after a couple of matches there, they moved Drew down to Florida Championship Wrestling,
And he had a ponytail and clean shaven.
yeah.
So
And he resumed his tag team with Stu Sanders, who was down there as well. And they wound up winning the FCW tag team titles. Their team ran its course. And he eventually beat Eric Escobar. There's a name we don't hear a lot. He was on SmackDown for about a minute as Vicky Guerrero's boyfriend, and he was gone. But he beat Eric Escobar for the vacant Florida heavyweight title, held it for about 3 months, and then dropped it to Tyler Rex, who, again, just a quick cup of coffee.
Tyler Rex. That was the braid guy or the dreadlock guy.
Yeah. And he was in a tag team with somebody, and then he quit right away.
Yeah.
And then, so right after he lost to Tyler Rex, a couple months later, Drew reemerges on WWE TV and immediately got into a feud with R-Truth on SmackDown. And then Drew, The Miz, and Drew's old rival, Sheamus, wound up being the survivors in a Team Miz versus Team Morrison Survivor Series match.
I don't remember that at all.
And then the very next month at TLC, Drew cheated his way to his first title on the main roster. He beat John Morrison for the Intercontinental title.
I remember that when he won the Intercontinental title.
And then he kept doing a thing where he was in a feud with Matt Hardy and just keep attacking him and attacking him and attacking him. And eventually Teddy Long, the GM, he didn't make him go one-on-one with The Undertaker. He didn't put him in a tag team match.
Tag team match, play.
But he did strip him of the Intercontinental title. And that's when Vince McMahon came out and said Drew McIntyre is the chosen one. He made Kofi Kingston. I'm getting ahead of myself here. He made Teddy Long put the title back on Drew, but then about a month later that month even, at Over the Limit, he did lose the IC title to Kofi Kingston. And it was around that time where he had to kind of go off TV for a little bit. He lost a little bit of steam. He had legitimately had visa issues and couldn't leave Scotland for a little bit. And he wound up getting in the doghouse after that, partially because of that, partially because he didn't really get over at that point.
And he never came back out of it until now.
And then the big thing, that was at the point where, remember Tiffany, Taryn Terrell?
Yeah.
One of the hottest bitches on the planet. Yeah, remember her?
At this point, they were married.
Oh wow.
That's when they got married, and apparently she had some kind of problem with him being in a romance angle with Kelly, and there was just a lot of kind of issues between them.
That's probably because Kelly is a known slut.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
oh, you gonna really fuck her? It's like,
Yeah.
if I can,
If you let me.
Yeah.
if I'm allowed.
And that all came to a head in L.A. They were in a hotel, and Taryn Terrell got arrested. They got called in for a domestic, and she got arrested.
Oh.
Do you know who else she got engaged to after this? Real
No.
quick, Carlton from Fresh Prince.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Wow.
She just
Which is
all over the
great for Carlton. But
Yeah.
what the fuck?
And I think now, isn't she super religious now?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything from her in a long
I think
time.
she found religion. She was in TNA for a while. And so with that, Taryn Terrell got suspended after the arrest, and she wound up being released without ever coming back on TV a little bit after that. And Drew McIntyre was shunted down the card. He flipped to Raw, then back to SmackDown. He wasn't really doing anything. He even, when they went from FCW to NXT, he was in the tournament to crown the first ever NXT champion. He lost in the quarterfinals to Seth Rollins, who would eventually win the tournament. And then around that time is when they put together 3MB.
This is when they're like, we have nothing for you and we don't care.
Just the comedy lower card tag team heels, him, Heath Slater, and Jinder Mahal.
Awful.
That lasted for a while, and at the very end is when they had Hornswoggle with them,
Oh, God.
and they were feuding with Los Matadores, and they had the
Ugh.
Wii LC match. With,
That match was actually really good.
That was
I'm
really
trying to
good.
be-
That was good, yeah. For them to
Everybody
And
was
didn't what's her name? Eve Marie did ring announcing one night and called Jinder Mahal Ginger Mahal.
I don't know.
I think they called
don't
Heath
I don't
Slater
remember
that once or twice.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I wouldn't put it past her because she was absolutely terrible.
And then she got in the news recently. Did anybody else see that?
No.
It was because she was flying on Qantas Airlines, and she was wearing very tight like yoga pants, like workout pants, and they wouldn't let her in the lounge area because they said she wasn't wearing the proper attire. And she went to like the media and like, this is my workplace attire, because I guess it was her clothing line. And it kind of got in the media about how even like they use her real name. It's like I forget. It's like
Nikki or something.
Can we see her in these pants?
She's so fucking hot, dude. Go on her Instagram. She's sexy as shit.
Where can we see?
She's still hot. I would love her going back to TV just because how hot she was. Fuck her wrestling.
But yeah, so this was like a couple weeks ago. Yeah, she was in the news. But anyway, on June 12th, 2014, shortly after that TLC match, where I think Drew bumped like a madman in that match, if I remember right.
He did, yeah.
He and Jinder were both released from their WWE contracts, and he did not take it lying down. He doubled up his efforts. He got serious, and he got serious with the goal of getting back in WWE someday. And
let his face and his chest hair go.
Yeah, with a beard.
Got more muscular.
Got more muscular, got to work in the ring, and came back in the Indies with a vengeance. In his first match back as Drew Galloway, he beat Chris Hero for the Evolve title.
Wow.
Shortly after that, he goes, and this is when the UK indie scene is starting to blow up. It didn't peak yet, but it was starting to get there. And he wins the ICW title. In 2015, he beat Johnny Gargano, and he unified the Evolve and the Dragon Gate USA titles, because I think it was when Dragon Gate USA was starting to go away. And then he became a regular in PWG. That's when he started doing TNA and Impact. He beat Matt Hardy to win the Impact title in March of 2016. And he was the darling of the Indies. He was like the man on the Indies.
He was also the What Culture World Champion.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, just a lot of different things in the UK. It was just either side of the Atlantic, he was on fire. So obviously, mission accomplished. WWE comes calling, and in 2017, right before WrestleMania, the one you were talking about with the scorecards, the one in Orlando, and the one where the Hardy Boys came back, that NXT takeover before that show, there he is in the crowd, and he's back, and he wins the NXT title later that year from Bobby Roode. And he didn't keep it long. He did lose it to Andrade, and he unfortunately injured his bicep in that match, same injury that Brian Cage has now. And that kept him out for a while, but then 2018 he shows up with Dolph Ziggler, and I'm sure everybody knows what happened from there. He had to feud with Roman.
He came back with Ziggler, and everyone was like, man, this is like Shawn and Diesel all over again. It was a great tag team. It was fun to watch.
They didn't do enough with that, dude. Like, they should have had them feud. It would have been a feud.
And then
matches.
he just floundered until recently.
He left Dolph. I mean, no sense. He left Dolph and then just joined with Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, I don't want to be anyone's second, but now I'm going to be a third.
Yeah.
Like, what the
Wasn't he in that like stable where he was with like they kind of did it, but it wasn't like the same thing. But they had like the United Nations,
the League of Nations.
No, he wasn't.
No, he was gone by then.
I thought they did it like another version of it with him, and like it wasn't like it was like a rivalry they had for a little bit where it was like this stable versus like Roman or something.
Well, no,
like
they
It was
mainly
him,
did like
Braun and Dolph against the Shield for a while.
Yeah.
and then
But then I thought it was like him. It was almost pretty much the entire 3MB minus. It was him, Jinder, and somebody else.
I don't remember that.
I forget where the other third guy was from though. But they were like all different. I think it was him. It was them two and Cesaro, and they were against another.
Maybe it was like one match or
because
something.
everyone short-lived.
It was like it was a
Yeah,
short
it might have
little
been a short little
because people
thing.
were like, oh, they should just put Kurt Hawkins in that stable, but they never did. I forget what they were. I don't think they had a stable name, but it was like a couple week thing.
Yeah, but it probably was like a very short-lived thing.
Yeah.
It's totally that.
Yeah, none of us remember it all.
And then they just kind of quick turned him babyface.
Yeah, you can see just very subtly too. Like he just started
It's
acting
weird
more.
because like you look at him and like, why aren't they pushing him? That seems like Vince's guy.
Yeah, he was doing this
6'9",
whole thing where
jacked.
he would just walk up to people, and if they weren't taking it seriously, he's like, "You're not taking it serious? Get to the ring. I'm going to kick the shit out of you." You know what I mean? Like,
and it's the footprint, the fingerprints of Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman has his guys that he wants to push, and Drew is at the top of that list.
now,
Can't blame him.
Drew. Let's say Drew gets the belt off Roman
Brock.
or Brock.
Yeah.
How long do you think they let him run with it?
A couple months.
Yeah, probably at least until SummerSlam.
I don't see him being. I like
Yeah, which
him.
would be about 4 months.
I
5.
like him. I don't see him being a long-term champion.
It depends on how it gets over. You never know.
Yeah.
See, I
you
think
never know.
I think he will, just because he has a big supporter in Paul Heyman, and with Paul running Raw or helping run Raw, I think he'll probably have a good, nice run. Especially if the crowd is really hyped about him beating Brock. I could see him being champ. For
And
like 6
and now
months.
they're really starting to get the finish over with the countdown, the 3-2-1 before the Claymore kick. It seems like
What did he
Things
used to
are
do?
fun.
But that
on
screams
DT?
Yeah.
that screams Braun Strowman to me. Like let's get him doing pandering to the crowd, and I don't know. It scares me.
I think he's...
Braun's problem was he was over and they just never let him win the fucking belt.
Yeah.
Braun's problem is he's like 0-9 in pay-per-view title matches.
Then the people just give up hope. They're like, oh, he's never going to win. So why even cheer him?
Yeah.
That's the way you don't want.
It's interesting to see what happens. But that'll do it for Tornado Tag Podcast this week. What do we got to plug, Andy?
I have no shows coming up, so I'll just say call in the Power Ring.
Check it out.
Yeah, subscribe on YouTube. Anywhere you get podcasts.
Yeah. Brian?
YouTube on the mind.
Nothing really this week.
Nothing?
Yeah.
Tyler?
All Things Wrestling on Facebook, and that's it.
All right. No HOG.
I have not looked at the schedule. I don't think they have an event for
I don't think they have nothing scheduled for a while.
Ton of their dudes are killing it at PPW, man. The HOG.
I wanted to do something with Charles Mason, but he did that gimmick where he was in and out, so
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to.
And now you're both baby faces, so it's going to be tough.
Yeah, we were just talking about that stable. I mean, it's not like a stable, but it's like a group of guys that travel down, and they're just
the guys that train there. Right?
Yeah, they just they're just sharp. They come in, they work hard. They kind of like. I'm not saying they're segregated from everybody, but like when they first get there, they kind of go up in the top and they're hanging out, and they're just really really cool dudes, man. Like, yeah, that's a good good thing they got going on up there at House of Glory. So I just want to while we have people here.
Do you remember Ring of Glory, the short-lived religious
we
wrestling?
always wind up saying Ring of Glory
with Russo and Paul Bearer. Oh God.
So this week, the Wicked Turtle Guys episode is going to debut. After that will be James Zanari and then Tim Mingle.
That's his second time, right?
Yeah. And then we have the Hotheads Hot Sauce episode coming. So that we're taking you up into March when it comes to interviews with everyday people.
Is that going to be the second Hothead?
Yep.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah. And then this Saturday, but it won't air for a little bit yet. The movie Backroad. It's a local horror movie. They're gonna come to the house. We're actually gonna watch the movie, see what it's all about, and then we're gonna do an interview. And then this Saturday, I'll be at Press Coffee at 6:00. Tim's doing his book release.
Okay.
So I'm actually hosting the event. Oh. We're gonna do a sit down interview in front of people, which I've never done. Kind of see how that goes. And then we're gonna do a quick Q&A with everybody. Cool. And then I'm going to get my ass off the stage, and Tim's going to read his book.
Do you get free coffee? That's the question.
I'm not a coffee drinker, so...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You can get tea there.
Yeah.
You can get tea.
I recommend the London Fog.
That's what Tim said he's going to make me.
The London Fog is excellent.
And then Super Bowl Sunday, I will be at Eddie Collins' senior house.
Oh, okay.
He has a insane vinyl collection, so I'm going to go there and get some film and do some recording. If you'd like to come, you're more than welcome to help with some filming, but I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, so I'm not going to bother you. Then I just literally every Monday, pretty much every Sunday and Saturday, I have interviews going on. So we have a lot of stuff going on. But in February, obviously PPW is back.
Outbreak
is back.
Mm-hmm. 22nd.
Yeah.
So, they're like 15th is PPW. I think 22nd is Outbreak.
Yeah. If anyone wants to be call-ins for any shows coming up for Tornado Tag, hit us up.
Sure, we can get somebody.
Gonna try to get someone to call in for the 13th for PPW. Maybe we'll get one of their roster guys to call in, and then maybe we'll get someone to call in for the 20th for Outbreak. Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll get Ryan to call in. Ryan Box, but we'll pull it over Outbreak.
Just to really quickly run through, I know that there's only been a handful of things announced. I'm pretty sure PPW was announced that
the Headbangers.
The Headbangers are going to be like
Broke Heller versus Clutch Adams. Because I guess Facade can't be at this show.
Yeah, no, I think he's going to be there.
Really?
I think he's on the poster, but I think they're going to do like Broke Heller's going to get one shot at it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I secretly I was a huge Headbangers fan when they came.
Really?
In. I liked them. I thought they were funny.
You know why I didn't like them? I was like, they are metal guys. They don't listen to metal, and no metal guys dress like that.
Yeah, well, they were more like punker guys.
Yeah, but they were called the Headbangers, and they wore they wore Marilyn Manson shirts, but like sometimes they were like a different band. I'm like,
but they had like the
then they should have been called the Thrashers or something.
Yeah, and then
they wore Headbangers.
They wore like flannel, kind of like grunge too. They were like a mix of like all rock.
Yeah, I did not like them at all.
Yeah,
and just to run down. Sorry, just to run down what Outbreak has announced so far. The Intimidator Championship.
How about this one?
Yam's the Working Man defending against Trajan Horn.
Mm-hmm. Trajan Day, baby.
Yeah.
Tommy Vex versus Mac Mayhem as well.
Mac's a good dude.
Kings of Mustachery against Dog Nation in a tag team match. Mm-hmm. Babyface Ian Bush. We just saw him at PPW taking on Travis Banks. Andy Header versus Mason Martin.
Yeah.
It's a big boy.
Yeah, he's a big boy. Well, he's a wide boy too. So
That's a big
Sweet,
win
yeah.
for you. If that's I mean, you put him down. That's got to put you back in contention for that
I
title.
would say so. Yeah, I hope so.
Gotta be wrestling too many big
I
guys.
know,
Andy.
Jesus.
Might be getting there with Chris Banks.
The last time we had a belt in this table was Outbreak.
Outbreak, yeah.
Now you're maybe going for a PPW one. Maybe we'll have a PPW title
Yeah,
here.
you never know.
It'd be fun. It'd be fun.
And there's one more match. There's
I didn't
Cortez
see
Castro versus Jimmy Rave. Jimmy Rave coming back.
That's
Oh,
right.
wow.
Yeah.
I'm
He
pumped.
used to be an RH, right? And they just said
Way
he was
back
shitty,
when.
right? So he was so shitty, people throw toilet paper at him. So when he come out, everyone rolls the toilet paper at him.
Instead of streamers, I could
Yeah.
throw streamers for guys.
It was
Jimmy Rave
awesome.
would get to it.
Yeah.
And then he was in Impact with the Rock and
Yeah.
Rave infection.
You know the tall guy in New Japan, Lance Archer? He was Lance Hoyt. And they would come out with a Guitar Hero guitar, and Christy Hemme, who was smoking hot, and they would rock out with the guitar.
They're trying to get Lance.
Yeah, I think they will.
Sign,
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for Tornado Tag Podcast. Thank you guys so much for the support. While
Mm-hmm.
you're here, please hit that like, subscribe. Well, I mean, like I just say, cause
Check out the links below.
check out the links below. Go check out Pro Wrestling Scorecards and go buy a Tornado Tag Podcast t-shirt. Let us know what you think of the new set. We're no longer in a kitchen.
We're now in a posh studio.
Yeah,
in upstate Manhattan.
We bought a
Up,
building
down.
in downtown big city, you name it, and that's where we are now. We're no longer in the kitchen. No, I'm joking. We're still in the kitchen. Just makes it look nicer. But we have some other cool stuff planned. It's going to be a big logo there of the show that you're about to see. So we are working on that.
We're gonna start steaming this curtain.
Tony thought putting up a curtain, and then he had the audacity to say, "We look like we're at Joe Rogan's studio." Like, no, you fucking don't. You ever see Joe Rogan's studio?
Joe
It's
Rogan-
millions of dollars.
When he first started, it was a red curtain that went down the one wall.
Yeah.
It was a red curtain, and then he fixed it because he has money. We have thumbtacks and
Fear
a
factor
string.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we're actually, and the tapestry that you're going to see on the back of the wall that we're going to use like as our logo as the in the back, you can actually get on Teespring as well. The smallest tapestry is the one you're going to see. It's huge. It's only $25. So if you want
Ain't bad
something
for a big
yourself,
flag, basically.
yeah, it's a good.
I
It
feel
looks
like
like a
every
giant
tapestry
flag.
is like $25. That's a good price. for
Yeah.
a
Fucking
tapestry.
huge. Wait till you see it.
I have a huge Jim Morrison one in my room because I'm a big, obviously Jim Morrison fan. But
Yeah,
Yeah, I have a
and then we
bottom one.
T-shirts are now $15. $15.
Yeah.
Hoodies $25.
There you go.
Eventually, Tony's gonna pay you to get shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's to the point where if you just buy a shirt, please buy shirts. I just want to see people in them. It makes me happy. And let's get pictures together when you buy the shirt. There is someone that bought a shirt. I don't want to say who it is until he gets it, and he probably take a picture with it, hopefully. But someone, I'm really happy that bought one. I'm just going to say that. But that'll do it for Tornado Tag Podcast.
That person was Drew Galloway.
Yes. It
Galloway.
was badass Billy Gunn. No, I hope this is the right theme music. If not, I'll edit it later. But that's going to do it. See you guys later.
I'll just hum it.